Stacy.
Okay.
Oh, you're going live with me on there by myself? Hell. What am I supposed to say?
You don't need to say anything just yet. Emily is still waiting. Good evening, everybody. Stacy.
Okay.
As you can see, Stacy is joining us from LA.
Hello.
And Black Rob is in the building.
So,
but he ain't gonna be on camera because he wants to get his shit off.
gotta protect my day job.
How annoying. Now your side flipped.
You what?
Are you sure it's flipped?
Yeah. It's now matching mine. Let me put it back to the original.
It's not messing with me, so I'm all right. Anywho, Ed, have you seen Tigo's video? Has anybody seen Tigo's fantastic explanation? Let me know in the chat. What are your views? Has he redeemed himself in your eyes? What we saying? TJ, Talius Battles. Let me say hello to everybody who's in the chat now. There's Ness Express. There's, I don't know how to pronounce that. Muli Bell. Energy, TJ, Ed, DCF Mux, Imi Snow Globe, ELCNUMO. I don't know how to pronounce that. That's a long name. Avet, Babiel, Crowd Crew, Easy Bambino, Johannes Williams. Oh, Babiel paused it to tune in here. Babiel, how much have you listened to so far? Yeah, no spoilers. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Good evening, Maggie. Good evening, Chijoke. Chijoke, I thought you were supposed to get back to me as to whether it is that you can make it or not. It would have been fantastic having you in the stew.
Brent, just sound checking. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Good evening, Emily. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Blessed and highly favored. Let me see. DCF Mix is in Discord. All right. Babiel, are you listening to it on 1 or is it 1.5, 1.75? It was far too slow for me on 1. But what I watch is crazy.
Yo.
Good evening, DCF Mux. You right?
What's going on?
Blessed.
Are we still talking about the Tigo stuff?
Yeah, have you seen it?
I watched like the first 30 minutes. It's a bit, I don't know, it's just, now I'm sitting on the fence with everything, to be honest.
Where were you before?
With the information that was coming out.
Yeah.
That's where I was.
Could you give a synopsis?
The information has only put me on one side.
Sorry, run it again. Rob, what did you say?
Could you guys give a synopsis? I only caught the back half of it, so I didn't see the rebuttal to all the stuff that was going on.
As in what happened with Tigo and what?
Yeah.
I'm not permitted to talk.
Not
about
you.
it.
I mean, whoever watched the video on what the video said.
I've only got 30 minutes in. By the way, is there a way to increase the volume?
All right, let me get. What, you can't hear me?
No, it's a bit quiet on my side, isn't it?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, cool.
How would I say it? It's more so it's like he feels like Poet, from what I got up to, he felt like Poet didn't really support him like that. If you guys want to correct me. But yeah, I don't feel like he was supported by Poet.
Chijoke says, wait, Black Rob isn't coming on camera. Chijoke, were you planning on coming on camera? Emily?
Yes, dear. Should I mute myself?
No. Keep yourself unmuted. This is you're also a guest host today. You're here in spirit.
Oh, am I?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is anyone actually coming in?
Yeah, I'm hearing noise outside.
Ah, cool.
Would you leave if it is no one was coming in?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm a keyboard warrior. I'm joking.
You know what? You're not getting on camera. I didn't know that.
you saw me though. Tell them I'm sexy.
Yeah, I did, but I thought. All right, let's relax. I thought we was
This is
all
to
about to
save
be on
the over
camera
the chat.
together.
This can't be
You
him.
know, I thought this was the keyboard warriors putting a face. To
Yeah, I
the
told you I'm a
case.
keyboard warrior. You can't see my
What's
face.
Heard that. Look, loud and clear.
Maggie, we're gonna get into the themes
This
for the
flick is
evening
really
just now.
doing me.
Just making sure everybody has a warm welcome, has a seat, and is ready for our guest hosts.
Is that the queen of BOE?
Thank you very much for turning up. Unlike some,
I like some.
yeah.
So it's just us.
Everybody's
Are you
typing.
serious?
Nah, Jackie's
coming.
Jackie's still coming, but
I mean, there is A13 is problems.
Oh.
yeah, I don't think that's the reason.
Okay.
we got some good folks in the room though.
We
Stacey,
do.
why-
know?
How comes I can't see myself on the camera, Brent?
Christine.
Stacey?
Oh,
You prefer to see
yeah, I
yourself
want to
and
see
Stacey?
myself. Yeah.
Wowzers.
Because I
No,
have
it's fine.
to
Obviously, obviously I've just looked really.
do this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see how I looked.
And
that's
if it is I do this and then press Stacey, look what happens.
Oh,
You
that's
see?
that.
Awkward.
Yeah, so I have to.
I thought
Oh,
that
no,
was a
that's
little
fine, that's
effect
fine.
you were
I
testing
just
out.
wanted to see how I
Yeah.
was looking.
Maggie, there's no option to be off camera. It's just that I told Black Rob he can stay home and jump on Discord. He said no, he wanted to basically meet the Queen of BOE. He wanted to see her
Live
in
and
person.
direct.
We met before, you know.
You all have met before?
Well, not really. But I saw her in that Shoreditch.
Serious? What happened?
Nothing. Just said hi.
All right then.
He
That was
accosted me on
outside.
the road.
I said, "Yo."
He accosted me on the road.
I realized she's taller than me. I was like, ah. No, I'm joking.
He accosted. I was like, "Who's calling my name, please?"
All right, she shouted your name out.
Yes. I'm
I
thinking.
was like, my size, and then I realized, no, my
It-
size.
it-
Oh, wow.
Instead of you to lean into your fame,
Wow.
you gotta get used to that.
Pardon, sorry, Stacey.
I said instead of you to get used to your fame.
Nah, Stacey,
I went,
I don't want to be famous. That's why I'm so angry at Black Tina thing. Because no, why?
I was like, fine girl, no pimple.
Yeah.
My. All right, so let me start because I don't know when it is that Jackie's coming. So we have Stacey in LA. We've got Black Rob. He's off camera. That's his picture right there. And we have got Christy, Queen of BOE, and we are waiting for Jackie to arrive. We've got Emily in the Discord.
Sorry. Yeah, I've got Nasuna in my profile, which is my Ugandan name, but let's rock with it for now.
All right then. So you're from Uganda?
I am there, yes.
I've heard a lot about Ugandans.
Have you?
Is it
I'm,
all
I'm
true?
scared to hear what you've heard.
I don't know what you've heard. You have to tell me what you've heard.
I've heard absolutely
Whenever
nothing.
Brett hears something is
I've
not,
heard absolutely
it's a coin
nothing.
flip to know if it's good.
There we go. I'll tell you what I've heard about Trinidad in a bit.
No, that's all right.
Awkward.
Okay.
All right, so the first question I'm going to put to y'all is, let me put it on the screen so that Stacey can see it. All right, hold up. You're on speaker.
I'm trying to find your number.
14.
I feel like I can hear it.
No. It's by the end on the end of the road, isn't it? I can't find it. Yeah.
Are you walking?
No, I'm driving.
All right, maybe you should park and then do the rest once you're out of the car.
So definitely 14 Crown Road, obviously.
Yeah, it's definitely that. Thanks for telling the whole world.
It's Crown Road.
Ah, God damn it.
Oh god.
Oh, so that's where you guys are located. Crown Road.
Mute her.
Crown Road. Thank you.
Just chilling here.
Thank you.
What's that called? Doxing?
Brent, what's happening?
Is that Saleh?
Is Sally meant to be in?
You was, but I don't think he's coming.
I'm going to jump
he's
into
not.
the first question because I don't know where this girl is.
Hello, 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 hello.
Good,
Can I be heard? Can I be heard?
Good evening, Miri. Why aren't you here?
Because I I tutor on a Friday, and
Yeah.
I got to do it for the kids.
Have you even sent me your calendar at all?
Not yet. I will do that by the end of this weekend.
I don't believe you.
That's okay. I don't believe in Arteta either.
First question is feminism dividing or strengthening black communities? Black Rob,
LOL.
go.
It's an easy one. it's weakening it.
It's
What?
weakening it
We're not even going to
What's
try
the two
and...
options? Strengthening or dividing, you said.
or dividing?
Dividing.
Are we not going to try and define what feminism
That's a
first
good one.
before
Yeah,
we
let's
jump
define
into it? Yeah.
You know, you even beat me to it. I was gonna say,
Thank you.
the misunderstanding of feminism is dividing the black community.
What's the definition?
Let's see. I'm going
Depends
to
who you ask.
Brent, can my background be heard, or is it clear?
Oh, what's my
Can your
napkin?
background be heard?
Yeah. Can you hear my background?
No.
All right. That's fine.
All right. Feminism. I can hear it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes.
The thing is, there's first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave feminism, and I agree with first wave feminism. I'm for that. All the ones after that, I'm not with it. So the current that definition I'm with, but what it's evolved into, I'm not with.
Are you okay with that definition of feminism, Emily?
Just repeat that for me again. Sorry.
I will. The advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes.
It's too vague for me.
Too vague.
Given the way we have the conversation, and I think someone talking about the various waves perhaps is more helpful because it has evolved into quite the thing, hasn't it?
How about this one? The belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. Still too vague?
I'm happier with this one than I am the former.
Let's run with this one then.
Yeah.
So, with this one, let me repeat the question. Is feminism dividing or strengthening black communities?
So, Brent, can I just say that even though we have defined it, it's present tense. So it's almost like we have to deal with feminism as we have it now, not what it has been.
Fair.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in its current iteration, I would say it's doing more harm than good. Yeah.
Oops, that's the wrong one. Do you agree, Christy, in its current form?
I think obviously when I was on here last, I already said that I don't subscribe to feminism ideology. So I guess in this current iteration, as Emily said, I don't like. I feel like there's. Do you know what it is? There's feminism online, and feminism online is toxic as hell. It's toxic as hell.
It sounds like we have a clean sweep in this room.
Yeah, it's gonna be a boring cover.
This is gonna be all right. So there's nobody contesting it. That's fine. We can move on.
I didn't say that.
Huh?
Go on, all right, go on.
Who said that?
Stacey.
I think.
God damn it.
I don't know. I don't know why I said who said
Why
that.
it was work? It was just working. What happened?
This girl is such a nuisance.
I can hear her. God.
Sorry. What was I gonna say?
No,
I
it's my
think
car, it's my car.
We have black women don't understand the difference between feminism and womanism. Feminism isn't for us. Womanism is. Feminism was us being equal, women being equal to men, but that didn't include black women. Whereas womanism, it's about having equitable opportunities, and that also is not exclusive to just white women. So just throwing that out there.
But isn't in feminism in its true state supposed to be equality for all? So I know how it's implemented may not be right, but the textbook definition is equality for both genders.
Yes.
I think in
however,
principle, very few people can disagree.
Sorry?
Yeah, but
Right?
As a
didn't really
movement,
include
it
black
wasn't
women. It
that.
didn't
Like
include-
when the feminist movement was a thing,
I mean,
it
just
was never meant for Black women to participate.
sorry, I'm not sure who's speaking.
Stacey speaking right now.
But what we're doing is
My bad.
Okay.
No, I was just answering your question. I wasn't hushing up.
Oh
about
no. Well, first, I couldn't quite hear Stacey, Brent, and I have tried to say in the chat I can't hear Stacey, so I'm not quite sure when she's
Stacey's
speaking, and I don't want to be rude. Yeah, it's quite quiet.
Jackie's in the room.
Hi, Jackie.
I'm so happy.
Is Jackie your op?
Use a little.
Oh, no, it's Veronica.
Brent, they're saying my mic is
Hey,
low.
hey.
What?
Is it my mic? Fine.
Speak up.
Hello.
Hold up.
I can hear you properly. It's quite
Yeah, we can hear
clearly.
you here.
Yeah.
Stacey, you weren't
It's
lying about your
Stacey that I
equipment.
can't quite hear.
I wasn't.
You were.
This is my living room studio.
Give us a tour.
All right,
Me?
the question, Jackie, that everybody so far has. You're right.
No, I'm not.
Help you up there.
I love how he conveniently turns the camera when it's time for him to join the set.
Thanks.
Gotta live up to the Wizard Kelly vibes, you know?
All right. The question was, wait, is that an Arsenal top you're wearing?
It's gonna suck, baby.
Ah, never mind.
Never mind.
Is feminism dividing or strengthening Black communities?
Where are we at now, though, with the question?
Everybody said it's dividing.
Just Black community or community in general? Because
Black. We don't care about the rest.
Dividing.
Jackie, you like to do this a lot. Are you going to do this the whole show?
No, because there's pros and cons of it.
No. Are you going to do this the whole show? What about ism? Are you going to do this the whole show?
Pyong pyong.
Okay, I think, it's dividing.
Because it said Black community.
Oh, no, but then, no, so sometimes... okay, BOV, yeah. Some circumstances are across board anyway, so it's not just the Black communities, it's communities in general.
Yeah, but
We're talking about ours.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
No, but not more than any others, which
Okay.
is, I think, it also matters.
Okay.
Not more than any others.
I can see how.
No,
this is
I
gonna
don't.
go.
I would disagree with that. I would strongly disagree with
I
that.
think more than others.
More.
Yeah.
Can
Yes,
you see that
I
there's a
would strongly
difference?
disagree because it isn't isolated to just the feminism issue when you're talking about the Black community. We have additional systemic issues to deal with, and that worsens it for us compared to other communities, particularly white communities, or not, more privileged communities. So I think we have to bear that in mind when we're having the conversation.
But then also, there's Blacks in America, there's Blacks in the UK, and there's Blacks in Africa. And I think there's a very big difference with feminism in each of those different regions.
How do they differ?
Pardon?
How do they differ?
Blacks
In Africa alone, you could think about cultural issues. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't think feminism is a negative thing in Africa, but I think feminism is a negative thing in Black America because of the whole we can do it ourselves vibe that I see in terms of I don't need a man and it's not 50-50 and there's always this power battle with like gender roles, whereas in Africa, the gender roles are clear, but it's skewed towards although I'm from a matriarchal society, it's still the man wins in certain cases. So women are kind of finding their own voice and they're leaving marriages. Not that it's a good thing, but at least they're setting standards. Whereas before it was like, I'm married, I stay married because the stigmatization that I'll get is worse than divorce kind of thing. So feminism there hasn't caught where feminism is in Africa hasn't caught up to the pace in which feminism is at in the Western world. And I think the Western world, feminism is negative, whereas like I'm Ashanti, matriarchy's the way forward. I didn't understand the whole patriarchy, the woman is subservient. But I do see certain things in Africa where the women, this is Ghana, I'm not talking about Nigeria, where Nigeria is very patriarchal. Ghana is not like there's still the man rules, but it's still they respect women in that sense.
Yeah.
Not saying Nigerians don't respect women.
That's what you said.
That's
Yeah, but wait,
the
so-
opposite is not
but-
true.
The thing is, I said this in the
It's
chat a
not
while
true.
ago and they
Where you
flogged me. I'm Nigerian.
They did.
I said this in the chat and they flogged me. I said
You
that.
so wait, you
Jackie, I've got a question.
Go on.
Who's that? What's his name?
This is
It's
Miraculous
the
Mary.
honourable teacher. Call me the teacher, man. Jackie,
Now I'm cold.
which phase of feminism would you say we're seeing in the West, and then which phase of feminism would you say we're seeing back home, or in Ghana particularly?
I think in the West, we're now even trying to retract how far we've gone in terms of women are like, no, I want to be soft now. I want the man to work. I don't want the 50-50 anymore. So many and I'm talking about from people in their late 30s, whereas like, I'm tired. I don't want to boss up. I don't want to get that job or be career. I'm not chasing with the man anymore. Whereas before, I was like, no, if he can do it, equal pay, but we don't want equality anymore. We just want softness because we've seen the burden that the equality that we get for feminism, it doesn't take away from the feminine duties as well. So for example, a mother will still have to do the work, the female load. She has to bear the child, even if there's paternity leave is equal. I think people assume that the leave is just to look after the child. It's to recover. You've literally given birth, almost died, and the man is also going to get 50-50 time. My body is still like when I had a baby, I was dying, like not dying literally, but I was physically suffering. So if you're coming to say me, he must take half the time. No, my body needs to recover. So this whole 50-50 thing, it's not devoid of the woman's weight. So you're sharing the man's load, but the man's not sharing your load because some things you just have to have. Like our periods, let's not kid, our bodies change regularly. 2 weeks in a month, our body's doing a madness. And we're still expected to come into work the same as a man. It's not equal. But so now women are realizing that I didn't really want to have this much responsibility.
You kind of got what you asked for. They asked for.
We did,
yeah,
but now we're
it's called unintended consequences.
Yeah, but I don't.
Snack Rob, isn't that overcorrection? That word you like to use?
I don't.
Proxy.
We went from suffragettes to suffering.
Sorry.
Yeah,
That's
but
funny.
to me, I didn't get the correlation.
Oh, that's hilarious.
By-
Oh my gosh, it's in Black Rock.
Yes.
I have that
This
effect.
is all
No, joking.
hilarious. Oh, Black Rob. Okay. Are you allowed to share your age? Are you allowed to share your age? Are you?
I'm early
Is he
30s.
underage?
Early 30s.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's making sense.
No.
Was
no,
that
I
on
get-
par
why
with
would I
your
put
prediction?
Your face to your voice.
What do you think
and
I
your
look like?
vibe.
What do you look like a waste man? What do you think I look like?
Use more words. Go.
What do you think I look like? And what do I look like?
He's gonna describe you as some
Give
Andrew
me 10
Tate.
minutes to.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
have mercy.
This is really, really funny. This is.
So Jackie, and then you were gonna say about the back home, where
Whereas
they
back
are.
home, for example, this is just me surmising things that I've seen because I go to Ghana a lot. Back home, women is so much easier to be a woman in Africa. Like it's hella easy to have 25 kids there because there's always going to be some form of help and assistance. Even if you went to Dubai, there'll be a maid to clean the house. You'll have someone
community.
helping out. Pardon?
There's community, I think.
No, even paid for community. I think sometimes we assume that it's always like a house help, like a cousin. Sometimes it's paid for staff, but it's just much more cheaper to have those things. So it's easier to be a mother and then be a career woman. So now they're realizing that, okay, I can be a career woman. I can also stand my ground in my home. In terms of if the man is not living up to the standards, I can leave, for example. Whereas they get married and now they're realizing they can also leave. Whereas the West, black women are successful not marrying as fast as successful black women in Africa, obviously because of the number of men there are. But nonetheless, there's more married black women in Africa. But in the West, it's harder because of the feminist route that we've done. But maybe at the plight of our mothers, some mothers saw how hard it was to be in a marriage. So they say, oh, have your own, make sure a man can't use you, make sure that you bring something and you can walk away. And so as a result, women were hardworking. Our parents don't have boyfriends, don't do this. This is the Black Africans in the West that I'm talking about, not like African Americans. I don't know their story. But it's like we did all of that. Majority did, a good number did all of that, and they bossed up. And I was like, I bossed up too much.
Yeah. And there's also, it's like a pendulum swing. I think I said this once before, that unfortunately there's going to be a bit of collateral damage because the pendulum swung too much the other way in terms of focusing on the economic side of things and not on the household. And there's going to be a huge wave of rich aunties that are not edified in their personal life. And the advice that they give the next generation is going to dictate if the pendulum swings back. So are they going to tell the nieces that, yo, I'm rich, but I'm alone? Still focus on make sure there's a balance. Or are they going to say, do what I did? Because
I think there's extreme. I don't think everyone's alone, but a lot of people are tired.
Hyperbolic, but
even tired, like just the fact that we're both coming home at 7, or we're both coming home at 8, or we've both got things to do, and we're now paying for the extra help. Whereas like, you just want a soft life, and that's the honest.
I think there is. I was just saying, I think there's also the option that things could reach some sort of equilibrium, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Because we've experienced the full spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it is that we can get to a place where it's like, okay, we can get some more balance here.
Yeah. So I think, as you're saying, with the rich aunties, they now might tell the kids, when you go to uni, look for a husband. Whereas before it's like, no, it was only after, it's one or the other. Like after university, where's your boyfriend?
Place as much importance on seeking,
which is what I think the Wahites do that all the time.
They
so they go for
their
MRS degree when they go to uni, go to a strategic uni and find someone within that uni because clearly they're of your caliber. Whereas us, we weren't as strategic to.
Are you talking about the UK?
Yeah, to physically be intentional, say I need to marry.
The uni I went to, they weren't thinking about settling down. They were thinking about
that speaks to what she's saying.
They were thinking about doing benders.
Yeah, that's
I'm talking about the whites.
But it depends on the Wahites. No, I'm talking about but for example,
they were thinking about benders.
Get with each other, and then at the end they all start dating. Do you know what I mean? Like,
from middle class, because I think a lot of the things that I'm talking about, or even Black Caribbeans, a lot of the things we do are actually equivalent to middle class Wahites, where white people, where the markers that we came from a lot of Caribbeans as well. I think Caribbeans don't give themselves enough rep. Come from 2-parent households. The ones that go to uni come from 2-parent households. They believe in certain values. They come from a community. Yeah. They go to church. People, even though people weren't religious, they still went to church for the vibe of community. Yeah. Like they're just going for the sake of community. Yeah. But so if you equate that to a white family, white middle class family, 2-parent household, they value education, because to value education is a big thing in households, especially like Caribbeans as well. Read your book, read your Bible, this, and they have those moral standards. If you compare it to the whites, they got married earlier, whereas the blacks, it was like one or the other, education, then marry your cousin, but it's like not cousin but family friend, and then the person's viewed as a cousin because it's too late, if that makes sense. I think that's the feminist side in the West, that it's gone a bit too far, and people act like as though women wanted to boss up always, but it's like, if the right man is not coming up, then I'm not going to lower my standards because of that, because it's just the people that I have are limited, are also married. So then are you going to say I'm not going to take the job at work because I'm waiting for the man? But then from back to the original point, in Africa, feminism is a good thing there for now. Yeah. But as you said, maybe it might go to the extreme in a few generations' time. But for now, I think they've got.
It's because the issues they're attacking actually make sense for wider society. Women getting abused by their husbands, financial abuse, like the stuff that you'll see a societal benefit from those things being squashed.
I can't believe I'm seeing your face. I'm so sorry.
Can you tell the chat? Because they're saying, you're.
Can they not see you? This is so funny.
No, he's not on camera.
He's off camera.
Come and see him, my friend.
He said he wanted to speak reckless, innit? So.
Yeah,
he don't want to be seen.
Tell him I'm not ugly, please.
No face, no case.
No, I'm joking.
That's why I can't speak. No, I'm joking.
But
he's a married man.
Yeah,
married.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, I can't remember what I was saying now.
Rob, do you think there's a correlation between feminism and then the economic climate of a particular place?
Hell yeah.
Economic climate change is way too much for it to be. I think for that question to be answered with any real certainty.
I think you can
let
answer
me
that.
let me rephrase it then. Do you think there's a correlation between the desire for a feminist movement and the economic conditions of a country?
100%.
I.e., the more issues there are, the likelier that the feminist movement will be geared towards like the first wave. And
I
the
think
less issues people experience,
Okay.
the less issues experience, the more likely that people will want to, go down the feminist route in terms of the movement, but not at a basic level.
I think I kind of know.
I
Feminist.
messed that up, but please.
Yeah, well, from what I took what you said, I think feminism was enacted because they just wanted more. If most of the women are at home, that's half of your labor force that you haven't engaged. So, do you know it was after the wars, the world wars, where women were taking over the jobs while their men were at war. They were like, "Rah, so they can work, get them in the workforce." But you can't just get them in the workforce. You have to start propaganda campaigns to be like. You start grassroots campaigns, making people think that what the government want is what they want by implanting ideas in the head of, don't you want to work too? So they start grassroots campaigns to make women want to work. They get into the workforce, realize now there's no one at home, but you've got more people paying taxes, more people working. But then that kind of messes up the nucleus family. So that's like if you watch Mad Men and all that stuff, that was showing like the how America moved from like the white picket fence, husband works, woman at home, to what we see today, which is like everyone's working and no one's like the state is looking after your kids.
Or also one income was enough.
One income was enough, yes, 100%.
Two was
And that's the
extra.
issue.
100%.
But now it's like you need two incomes or one income to be making.
It's not even a choice now, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Even
both
three.
people have to work.
Two
Yeah,
per person.
But again, I just always compare when we always talk about blacks, just blacks in the West and blacks in Africa.
Yeah.
In the West, you have to work. Time equals money. In Africa, it's if I did this studio for 2 hours, I can make equivalent to what I can make my weekly salary for the 2 hours. If I sold an item, I can then make sure that I've made my living for the day. So it's not necessarily you must go out and earn a living, come home at 9. But I think I see people doing corporate Africa and people are tired. Traffic in Africa is mad. Ghana is crazy. My friend leaves the house like 5 just to get to work. So by the time she comes home, it's 9 o'clock because she's following the corporate Western theologies kind of thing. Not theologies, but ideologies. Whereas typically they might have been trained. Do you know what I mean? Then they can work from 12 till 12. They can work maybe on Tuesdays only, wherever it may be. But their time didn't equate to money. I think industrialization in the West has changed that, where you physically have to leave your house to go and make money and then come back.
All right. Before we move on to the second question, is this question to you, Jackie?
I can't see the chat.
Oh, yes, of course you can. Hold up.
Brent, can I say something?
Of course you can. And you remember, you're guest host. You're in the studio with us, so you can chime in whenever you want. Don't wait for me to basically cue you up.
That's fine. I'm kind of new to this, Brent, so I don't know what the order is.
Oh, but this is Natalie.
Yes, hi, Brent.
I thought it was Emily. You're not allowed to talk whenever you want.
Brent.
Sorry. I thought it was Emily speaking.
Wow.
I was joking. You can. You can chime in now, Natalie. Go on.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to say, I think we're asking the wrong question.
Come on.
Right? Because the question is feminism dividing or strengthening the Black community? I think I know we try to kind of scope out and define what feminism is, but I think you can't do that because it's very localized, right? I think people have kind of alluded to, the experience of the West and the experience of Africa, but even that is too broad, right? Because, for example, I'm Zimbabwean from the Ndebele culture. The role of women is sort of very different, right? So, for example, like the whole like you become Mrs. whatever the man's name, that really wasn't part of our culture. like as a woman, you always identify as an individual and either as a mother of this person or a daughter of this person. And a woman's role was always seen as a strategic role. So you may not, you know, you may not be the voice of the family, right? But if a man is speaking, people know that the woman is the brain trust behind. So there was a whole different relationship in terms of how women navigated, right? So I think, so the reason I'm saying we're asking the wrong question is because we really kind of need to deconstruct what we're saying when we say feminism. And I think also we're putting too much of an onus on one sex, right? Which is women, because we need to ask, what was feminism trying to address, right? What were the issues that feminism was trying to address and why it became a thing, right? And we cannot speak in isolation because capitalism, there's so many pillars around it, right? And then I think what would be more helpful is to really define, what does a strong Black community look like, right? Are we saying that you're looking for a strong family, right? Because it's kind of been alluded when someone said, "Oh, rich auntie lonely," but we need to come to a consensus. Is that what we're saying? Because actually, being a rich auntie lonely but peace and having sound mind, for some people, that is what they want. So I just think we're asking the wrong question. We need to start with, what is a strong Black community and why do we need a strong Black community? I think we can probably answer that. It's family. We need it for sort of generational wealth. We need it for, just sort of strengthening our voice and our influence. And then I personally reject these framings, right? Like feminism or whatever, because we try to transpose Western frameworks into the global South. And it doesn't really work. So yeah, sorry, I've said a lot.
Rob, she pulled up your pants. Come on.
I don't know where to start. First of all, you said feminism means different things based on different eras, and I think that's what the different waves was about. So the definition of feminism changed as time changed, because every time they solved the problem, they found a new one to solve.
No, but sorry, Rob. Sorry, can I stop you there? It's Western. So it's different waves in the West, and different waves for white women, right? So that's why I say I personally reject those kind of framings,
So
because they are West. Well, I care more about the role of a woman, right? And the power that a woman holds, and the voice that a woman holds. That's why I say I reject those framings. Just like I reject when people try and say, "Oh, being liberal or conservative," and then try and put those framings in African political context. That doesn't really exist in most African political contexts, right? Because we're really trying to use frameworks that are helpful for white people and that they've set up for ourselves.
I kind of want to agree and disagree with you, Natalie.
Come on.
Yeah, I do. Only because I understand that the diversity of within Africa as a continent as well is just so vast that it's almost impossible to have the conversation, right? But we cannot deny that there is a movement that is somewhere along the lines of what we globally call feminism that is applicable to Africa, that is happening, within African communities. So we might not want to call it feminism, but it is something, and it is there, and it is perhaps worth unpacking. Right?
Yeah, I'll say it's worth unpacking, but I think maybe we start with what are the issues that are being addressed, right?
Okay, so
a lot of it is, having a voice, being economically empowered, being economically empowered to make decisions. I think we sort of need to start from there.
So does that not go to your point of it being
localized? So is this about labeling, or is it more about the issues that need to be dealt with? In which case, I think perhaps they're two separate conversations.
This is just postmodernism. This is what it is. This happens a lot with a lot of these conversations that we have. We get stuck up. Everyone's got their own definition of a word, so you can't even get off the ground. Get off the ground because we define the definition, and someone goes, "Well, that definition doesn't really mean anything in this context." I was like, "Yeah, but we have to all universally accept one definition. Otherwise, you can't get off the ground with a conversation."
Get somewhere. Exactly.
It's like coming to a room and everyone's using different currency. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think it's...
No, so you've made the right analogy, right? About coming to a room and using different currency, right? We need to localize our language. So if we're saying we're talking about London, right? Let's narrow and talk about London, because just like you said about currency, you cannot use American dollars in the UK. So we cannot come to a consensus on something that cannot be consensused.
No,
well, a definition.
That's
what Jackie was just in it.
When I was trying to say the three different blacks in different locations, and although I'm from a matriarchal society, we were voting before the suffragettes. Like the Ashanti women are the people that installed the king. So I've never seen women as being subjugated to anything from my culture personally. So I get that other cultures are patriarchal, but I'm from where my mum's from. I say my dad is from here, but I'm literally matriarchal. So I don't believe in. Yeah, we're from a matriarchal society. So this whole feminist act, it's like we've been doing that. So I see it as a Western movement where Ashantis were doing it from day dot. Not saying that men weren't respected and women are the only superior, like what Kev seems to have thought I was saying. But women worked. Women are the market in the marketplace. And before industrialization, trade was the only way to survive, and agriculture. So the men might be farmers, women were selling clothes or whatever it is in the market. So women in my part of the world is not a thing to be working, is not a thing to be... You're not even a housewife. Like, you can't... What's a housewife? A woman must work and have her own. But you also have help. So back to your point about community, the rich auntie might be the one back in the days. Not everyone could give birth back in the days. She might be the one that was looking after other people's kids. She might be the one that was financing the person that had like a lot of kids in that sense. So it's the community. But as you said, feminism is feminism. But where are we in the scope of... Where is Black America? Where is Black London? Black Europe? Where is Black West Africa? Where's Black Southern Africa? Because the West African story is completely different from the Southern African story. Like West Africa is very homogeneously Black and homogeneously in terms of the majority of people in West Africa are Black. And they originate from Africa. Whereas maybe in Southern Africa, you've got an influx of, Indians and other cultures that are genuinely can lay claim to the land. But if they're laying claim to the land, their culture would have infused with your culture to some extent. Whereas West Africans quite homogenous. So therefore, that experience is different. But I think the definition is still the definition. It just depends on where you are and where you are, whether on the pendulum or whatever rope you want to kind of define the line to be. What was your opinions, Black BOE? Queen of...
I said I don't subscribe to it. The same as what Natalie said. She said it more eloquently than me. I reject.
You reject what?
I think you said something different. You reject it. She's saying that, we need to localize the definition to each region, which kind of what Jackie alluded to when she spoke about it.
But I agree with that in the sense... No, I do... The thing is, I'm not saying that it hasn't had its purpose. Obviously, I'm only viewing it from the lens of here in the UK. I can't speak for anywhere else. I'm viewing it in just my time and my being, how it's played out for here.
And that's enough.
So I do think though the Western take on feminism is definitely reaching West Africa.
But they're still behind.
I don't know.
Give an example of the
I've
toxic
seen some
parts.
Pop the Balloon shows in Africa going on. The way some of them are behaving, I was like, oh, right, it's migrated.
The way I hear certain Nigerian women talk there...
Let's give an example.
I can't think of a...
That's right. I'm going to save you because we've exhausted our time on this question. Sure. I'm going to move on. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Next question is... Do Black men prioritize traditional masculinity over collective Black unity? And how does that impact relationships within the community? Stacey.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, please.
Do black men prioritize traditional masculinity over collective black unity? And how does that impact relationships within the community?
Oh, Brent, I feel like you need to do definitions again.
Yeah, I don't know. Collective black unity. What do you mean?
Black men prioritize traditional masculinity over community.
I think that's true.
Can you elaborate? Can you give? I don't know if I really understand still that.
When faced with a choice between preserving their masculinity or fostering black solidarity, what do black men tend to value more?
Masculinity. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
I think black men think that the black community requires them to be toxically masculine. Like they think that's a pillar of the community.
Do
the
black
man
men
must
think
step
about
up
the
to
community?
XYZ. Huh?
Do black men think about the
Right, here we
community?
go.
Not in a bad way. Not
You know
trying
what?
to- Not,
You
That's a
ate
fair question.
there.
I don't,
Do black
I might be
do
a,
black men think? Full stop.
oh,
I'm
Stacey, you
kidding.
took it far.
You started.
No, but I don't think black men, even the best of them, the majority think a good black man thinks of his home. And whereas I see women thinking of their community, a good black man is willing to live in wherever for the sake of peace of his nuclear family because he wants to do well. Whereas a black woman focuses on that community vibe, whereas a black man is very tunnel vision, I find.
This is not men exclusive. Black people don't think about community, period. If we thought about community, we would not be in a lot of the positions that we're in. It's not a men issue. Men do think about traditional masculinity and they've skewed it. It's revisionist history on that side. But I don't think black people in general think enough about community. Otherwise, we'd be so much further. We've had this conversation before on this podcast. Like the reason why we struggle to be able to, be on one accord is because everybody is out for self in the black community. Whereas in other places, it's a lot more communal, not just, it's communal in all things. So yeah, I wouldn't put that on black men. Black men do prioritize their traditional revisionist history masculinity, but I wouldn't blame them.
What do you mean by
not putting
revisionist history when you say that?
Because I think that black men tend to skew what traditional masculinity is. Like, and I think women do it too. Like, it's the whole debate about traditional versus modern. People only talk about the traditional aspects that benefit them presently.
Yeah.
They don't talk about the full scope of it. Like in the context of men, you want to be the breadwinners, you want to be, the man, but you don't realize the responsibility that comes along with that outside of financial. It's not just financial provision, it's other things as well that black men, honestly, in my opinion, are not willing, ready, or able to talk about. Whereas women just think, oh, I'm meant to be taken care of. But it's like, okay, yes, however, you're being taken care of because of your contribution to other factors within the relationship dynamic, whether it be the house, taking care of the household, the children, those traditional gender roles that we hate to accept. But yeah.
Stacey, do you see black men in America as that in terms of typically they're just providing? I'm talking about married or people that live in a household with women and kids.
No, I think that in America, because of our, economy, like how we just touched on it earlier, we no longer have the luxury of, depending on where you live, state to state, but where normal people live, you don't have the luxury most times for black men to just be the primary breadwinner. And, we don't have the luxury to have those quote unquote gender roles that let them lean into that traditional masculinity. Like everybody has to carry some type of equitable weight. Otherwise the household would just collapse. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. I kind of forgot it.
Do you not, because you mentioned the other side of like relationships, do you not think black men are providing that in the house? The emotional. Oh, you don't?
Absolutely not. I think black men, especially here, think that their duties are done once the finances are in order. And it hardly be that for real.
I think that's a yin and yang thing though, especially it's like where, yes, I think especially in America because it's like capitalism on steroids. So you get the Nick Cannons of the world, the Cam Newtons of the world where, look, I've got the money. like bow down in it, and there's girls that are gonna do that. So it's a transactional relationship that doesn't require emotional leadership or all that other stuff. They only see that leadership as, I got the money, I'm covering your costs, you're living good, I'm doing my job, and that's it. That's where it ends.
No, you're talking about.
And you know what's even so funny? They it's not even about when the money part is even halfway done, because when I'm thinking about it and answering this question, they'll go and get the money, like they'll clock in, but who's actually doing the bill pay in the house? It's the women. Like the women will the women will have access to funds and be able to divide it accordingly. Where I'm thinking like, damn, they really don't be doing nothing but going to work for real.
Oh, do you genuinely think, not the Cam Newtons of life, but the average Joe, the average good Joe?
Yeah, the average Joe thinks that traditional masculinity is simply finances. Like, it's not provision in other areas for real. I think we've talked about social media has amplified the dialogue, but had everyone been living in their echo chamber, if I'm paying the bills, what are you questioning me about? I'm paying the bills. Like, are you not housed? Are you not fed? Like that to them is provision. Whereas now we're having evolved conversations. And I think that has a lot to do with economics too. Like, I'm working, so you don't have the luxury of just saying I'm paying all the bills, so you should just be okay. No, I have to work too and contribute too. So there should be, here it is. Like, it's not very often that you see a man. Actually, we're kind of going back to that very slowly, because the cost of living is so high, especially when it comes to childcare. It's no longer making financial sense for women to go back to work, but that's neither here nor there. A lot of people are in two income households where both parties are working, to where you're not seeing men be breadwinners or primary breadwinners in their household. So they don't have that same bravado to be like, well, I'm financially providing, you're well kept, etc. Like that's usually the muscle flex.
I think this is overstated, because like I remember I read an article, and I'm trying to find the information on it now. I remember reading an article about how this generation of men do way more childcare and are way more domesticated than previous generations. So I think it's overstated in the media that we're like, but in reality, this generation of men spend way more time with their children than their predecessors, even though their predecessors were probably the breadwinners.
Everything over zero is more. Like,
you got some nihilistic view, you know.
I'm inclined to agree with
Is that what you think of us?
This is
I would
agree.
No, not Stacey, as in what you just said.
Propaganda.
What Black Wolf just said. Because I'm thinking about my dad's generation, and I remember how my dad was even viewed, because he would do like pickups. He would come and like,
he was like, wow,
he cooked.
Yeah,
it wasn't a thing for him not to cook.
Yeah.
Even from a household of he was the only boy.
Yeah,
he's there's 5 of them. Got 4 of sisters.
Yeah,
he learned how to cook.
Yeah,
so it wasn't a.
And he didn't have to.
So when like people came to our house and see that, it was like, is your wife running things?
Yeah.
Just by sheer virtue because he cooked. And I'm thinking, no, but my mum also cooked as well. It's not like she didn't cook.
Yeah.
But he also, it wasn't one of them ones he was waiting for my mum to come home.
Yeah.
And like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Where's the food when she gets home from work? He knew how to get up and cook. He knew to cook for us, me and my sister. So that was, to me, was an anomaly. Like when people used to talk about their parents, I'd be like, that's not my dad, sorry.
Same.
Yeah. I can't relate.
My dad too. He was very hands-on when it came to his, I mean, he definitely, I wouldn't say that he's an anomaly to his generation, but I think there were areas that he prioritized being different than what his generation was. Like, it was a thing for us growing up. On Fridays, every single Friday in the evenings, he would get all his kids in the car and we would go to the bookstore and he would take us to dinner, just him and his kids. Mom's at home. I don't even think it was for the intention of letting her rest. I think it was truly just him spending time with his kids, and he really liked that. I don't think that's normal for a lot of people, because I know it was something that people kind of were like, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of cool growing up. So yeah, I think back then it wasn't commonplace for men to be, the way that women kind of interact with their children, there wasn't that frequency. That's why I'm saying anything over 0 is going to be considered more.
There's 3 of us on camera, 3 women. on camera, and 3 out of 3 women say they had good dads.
Good experiences.
So
yeah.
therefore, sometimes I think it's like men had bad reps. There were enough dads. A lot were crap, but there are 3 out of 3 right now have great dads. So that's above 0. That's 100% in this room if we were to use these stats. Therefore, I think it's just the loudest negative news spreads fast.
Yes.
There are a lot of people with good dads, but because it was so normal, you don't hype it up as much. Whereas if it's a bad dad, it is loud. The mic is in your hand.
I don't agree with that.
No, but you're
I
prime
think we're
example.
bringing it
3
up
of us are prime
because
examples of
we
having
recognize
great homes.
around us.
Again,
we
I
were
would
the
agree that.
normal.
I'm not saying it's
sense-
50-50,
I
but
would
it's
sense that
it's not 0.
I didn't see a lot of my dads. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
In back then, I didn't. So I
Because ours
didn't.
was
If
only
it's 10%, it's still more than 0.
Right.
So if it was, no, what I'm saying
DMP.
is, if it was 10% for, let's say 10% is not 0. Let's say it's 10% in our dad's generation. It's definitely going to be more in this generation.
that's what
And
I'm
based on
saying.
the stats as well that he said,
Yeah, but I believe
there's
it's definitely in
loads
this,
more
no,
dads
in
that
this
are more
generation.
active.
100% is more hands-on, I believe.
Way
which-
more dads.
Which goes against
What Stacey's
Stacey's
saying,
anecdotal
yeah.
evidence of like, oh, men are just like, do you know what I mean?
They're not just providers. I think
Yeah.
men that have families are really trying. But back to the point of community, I think that they're trying so hard that sometimes the tunnel vision is on their nuclear family. I see men doing really, really well in their nuclear family. Not all men, but a good number of men are really focused on being a dad.
But I think that's
Like, I would
naturally. I
like
think
to
that's
argue
naturally part of the
that that
gender
is
roles as well. Men
women-driven.
are here to steer their ship. A lot of times they're like, "Yo, I'm trying to keep everyone alive, everyone success." And then the women normally are the ones that are like, let's be real, like.
Yeah, but
If you go to dinner with another couple, it's 9 times out of 10, it's the wives that have organized that dinner. I'm just using anecdote. Like the women normally are the more communal ones, and then the husbands are like they're part of the community, but it's not at the forefront of their minds. But they do care about community, but it's not. Women are naturally more social creatures than men, so they're the ones that normally bring the community together, and the men are always going to be part of that. So the men are like, okay, let me make sure my nuclear family and maybe even my extended family are good. And if everyone's doing that, then everyone's wives are bringing them together, then we're good.
then
I hate that
but
saying
when
women are
it was
more
back in the
social
day,
creatures.
when people were facing
think
the
they are
height
those
of racism, men were stepping up. They were thinking about community. They were thinking about the biggest
Because we had
picture.
an enemy.
I'm not talking about like stuff like that. I'm talking about like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So,
But that is in back, bringing it back to the question. When we're talking about community, I feel like that involves that though. No,
yeah, but that's okay. If we're getting attacked right now, well, maybe that's a bad example. But
No, I think a good example
finish
is...
finish that.
it's gonna be me and Brent, isn't it?
Men go to the front lines in times of war.
No, but you run to the bathroom
when
with
you're
me and
saying
Brent.
attack, no, but
I'm running.
when you're saying attack, in what sense? Like, because to me, like, I know he's a very. I guess he's a high standard. I guess I'm thinking of the Malcolm X's of the world. I guess.
Yeah, but
That's where I'm
Christy,
viewing
when there's a common enemy,
Yes, exactly.
then
When there's
you
an enemy,
all band together.
Yeah.
But when there isn't a common enemy within the black community,
And I mean,
You're
I
now
can't lie to you,
looking
Mirad,
at-
I'm not agreeing.
but you can see that.
Elaborate. Why did you
I'm
just
not agreeing.
expand?
which part do you not agree?
I don't agree that you lot are gonna just jump up because if I feel like there would be signs now that you'll be jumping up. You don't jump up now.
No, because there's no enemy. That's what he's saying. There's no.
So they
there's
don't believe there's no enemy.
no,
No, they don't.
Wait,
That's
Christy,
why-
let me
that's-
rephrase.
And that to me is the problem.
The enemy
Hold on,
is the
hold
white
on.
man.
Let me
the enemy.
rephrase.
But he hasn't. There's no.
We're all too cushy. That's the honest
There's
truth.
no enemy.
But that's what I'm saying.
Listen,
To me,
There's
that's
no
not how I-
urgency.
Yeah,
There's lots of
exactly.
enemies, but there's no urgency.
Yeah, and
there's
that-
no.
and-
There's no
and that
enemy
me
coming to
is-
attack and kill your nuclear family.
And this
That's
is where
why.
certain things where in certain things women will automatically show up, whereas certain things men will not. I'm not seeing the men.
Give examples.
Like, for example, just even a small thing. Brent, the tour that Daryl did. I looked at the picture. I was like, where the men at?
They're just 2 men.
There was just 2.
Myself and Emmanuel.
And that to me is about community, just like history, just simple thing. That's not about facing your enemy. I didn't see any other black. There was 2 black guys.
Could it be argued that these
And
men
I
were
see a
their
trend
families?
with that. I don't see the men showing up when it comes to things in that nature. To me, I don't. And I feel like that's a
could be-
problem.
that-
And I feel like when
that could be merely down to
Can I finish, Mirad?
Sorry.
If you should have been in the studio. But
I know.
I'm saying
Rob is
what I'm saying is
I'll wait for silence.
I don't really see that, and I feel that their view of using their masculinity, why don't you use it in the right way? Because I feel like had you lead in that manner, in leading me, we would get somewhere. we would actually get somewhere in the
Which
community.
goes back to the point of black men. I think I said this, and I forget the question. It's self-serving. Like, and maybe it's not a black men only thing. It's just black people in general are self-serving. They're not going to do that unless it is serving them. Like, I don't. Are we shocked?
I look
we
at
accept.
the
I don't know.
community with like knife violence, and I'm shocked that it's still going on in this generation, that people are actually getting stabbed in England. Like, it baffles me. I thought it would have been cracked down before. Like our parents' generation, we know we're first, second generation African Caribbean. We didn't know the terrain of the land, kind of thing. But now we know. I was expecting men from my generation to be doing community clubs and stuff like that. You know, even if you've moved out of ends, you can still come in one day in the evening, come back to your Peckham and Hackneys and give back to the community. And it's men that are dying, and it's men that are doing, and it goes back to our point with just men don't look out even for men. That's the killer. So
sorry to interrupt you, Jackie. I'm really struggling to agree with this line of thinking, because
I don't agree with everything they're saying, but I think to their point with just even black boys dying still in this generation is wild.
Okay, let's talk about the people who are actually doing work in these arenas. Who are they? Are they not black men? No, it might not be
in which
as
arena?
effective as we want it to be. Yeah. I mean, it's happening. I live up north, and I know 2-3 black men who have anti-gang, anti-knife initiatives, not supported by the government. They're just people in the community who are going about and doing the thing, right?
No,
So
but not enough.
I think somebody.
For example, sorry, that like
what is enough?
The female black maternity thing, the black five times more. Yeah. You loud.
I think these guys are loud too.
The community people are doing it, but it's a collective effort to make sure if we care enough, our voices are heard where it
somebody
matters.
Mentioned that something about having the mic and being loud when something is a particular thing. I think we're looking at these things in isolation of so many other factors. Right? How many people are interested in furthering this conversation? And I mean people that have the means to be loud about it or to put money into it or et cetera, et cetera. I think there's so many moving parts in these conversations, and it serves a particular group of people, I'm sure, for us to be having conversations like this where we vilify the men in our communities over things like this. Like, how are they even supposed to be encouraged to carry on in these efforts if and when they do them?
No, I wasn't.
We are caring.
Yeah, but no, Emily. Sorry, I'm sorry. No, Emily, I'm not buying what you're selling, because
go on then.
In terms of the question that the original question that Brent said, I think if they, it's not to vilify, but I'm saying they prioritize that more in terms of community. So if they use that masculinity that they're talking in terms of actually more thinking of the community, I believe we would get somewhere. That's just my point. I'm not vilifying them, saying there's certain men, because there's certain men, there are definitely men that's doing the things.
And lots of work in those arenas. In fact, the most part is men that
so
do
it's
that.
not like we've had
it's not enough. Is that what you're
but
saying?
to me,
what does enough look like, guys?
Is that what you're saying?
Take into consideration, what does enough look like?
I don't see that in just an average day-to-day guy that I'm running into.
But this is the thing. I think what we are trying to do is look at how these individuals doing it, or how women do it when there's a community project, everyone comes out and say the men need to adopt that practice. When actually what men are doing in reality are being quiet about it and doing the job, as opposed to going out there with a mic. There are plenty of people, I call them the invisible heroes. They're doing their part. They may not be doing it in a grand scale, 300, 400 plus people, but they're doing it in their projects within the estate, within 100%. The school that they're working.
Yeah.
It's just the problem is we want to see them out there.
Yes.
To believe that they're doing something, when in reality, everybody's doing something small every day. Small acts of kindness.
100%.
And I prefer quality control.
Can I just say
I'd rather have the right
something?
people doing it than like bare people.
No, I think maybe big people are misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying that that's not happening. I'm just saying the average Joe that I come across, they are not. Again, back to the question. Brent, can we repeat the question, please? 'Cause
Christy, I'm
maybe
going
not
to ask
answering-
you to
maybe
find
not
some
getting what
new
I'm saying.
circles to hang out
Alright,
in.
you shouldn't have put it
No.
back to me because that's the
Can I
end
just say
of-
something?
Came up.
It's too late. you've woken
Wow,
me
wow,
up.
wow, wow.
All right, so that was the end. Let me just break up the tension a bit, change the question around. I would forgive my partner if they cheated on me. Agree or disagree?
Impossible.
No.
If you let your household be a cheating house.
So you agree? You agree, Stacey? Is that-
What's the question again?
God damn it! Pay attention, please.
I was paying attention, but I was so mortified
Manuel.
with what I
I
heard.
would
I would
Forgive Brent.
forgive my
It's
partner
Brent, it's
if
Brent.
they
Forgive them,
cheated
Brent.
on me. Agree
I
or
would.
disagree? I'll repeat it. I would
Agree.
forgive my partner. Whoa!
Emily, agree.
Come on.
Actually, do you know what? Actually, I
100%.
might agree, but it's done.
Not necessarily.
I like that. I like that still.
Yeah.
Men
I'm
are
not gonna
be
hold on
honest
to
here.
it.
This is
No,
the
I
last
think it's-
conversation.
depends on
I
where in
have
the
a whole
relationship it is.
theory about this. No,
If we're both 80,
I would forgive
I'll
them.
just forgive. I forgive. I don't care.
Sorry,
Listen, if I may-
Emily. Can I hear your opinion on this, please?
Well, Brent, I think you you already know kind of where I'm going with this.
But the people
I
don't.
do not. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. The whole idea of cheating, the concept of monogamy, the idea of possession, the idea of loyalty, all of these things. If your partner cheats on you, why have they cheated on you? Is it because they're a feckless person? Are they not happy in their relationship? Have you pushed them away? Like, can we unpack all of this before we just give it a hard no
That's
or hard
gaslighting.
yes or whatever?
Why didn't
Like,
they
it's-
unpack
no,
all
let's
of
talk
that
about
before
it.
they unpacked
I have
on
been
the
married
next,
for a
the
very
next
long,
woman?
very long time, and divorced. I have been a wife, a mistress, a girlfriend. Like, I've seen
What?
so many
Got all the
sides of this
badges.
conversation.
What?
Yeah, I've got them all these
Brent knew
and
what he
the
was doing.
t-shirts
Having
that go with
Well
them,
done.
right?
Gotta catch 'em all.
Can we have some silence for Emily, please? She's about to pop
It's
off.
good to be honest, Emily.
Oh,
I knew
dear
what
me.
Emily was coming with today. So.
Emily, can you define? Did you
Yes.
say mistress?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Just for those that don't understand, what are you referring to?
No, we understand. Don't.
You understand? I don't know why
Everyone
you want me
else,
to break
be
it
honest.
down for you.
No, I
We
need to
listen,
know.
we don't
Like,
judge.
okay, is it fair enough?
So Emily's
You want me
mugs.
to- Do you get it now? You understand what I say when I say yeah.
Oh.
So I've worn all those hats. I've experienced all of those dynamics. And so I think that this is something that we say to ourselves because it makes us feel safe and comfortable in the world that we have built for ourselves. But in reality, if you sit down and you think about it, and if you have lived through these things, there is no definite answer here.
Wait a second.
Sorry, can I just ask,
You're the one
Emily,
who's
Yeah.
on the
which
call
one
who's-
was?
Are you the one on the call?
Which
who's
one was
Ugandan?
best? Which
One
one
at
was
a
the?
time, please. I know she's
It's
settled
Nad
on.
speaking. I'm asking a question.
Go on that. Sorry.
I want to ask Emily which hat was the best, and I have a part B to that. Which is like, can I, like with the mistress one, was
Yes,
the
yeah.
lack of responsibility like quite peaceful, like was it a better role because
Sounds
you
like
didn't have
asking
to
for a
deal with the real?
reason.
No, this we're just asking it, like what I'm
Yeah, of
packing.
course. Feel free. I have been a mistress at different points in my life. At one point, I was quite young.
Stacey.
But please. At one point, I was quite young, and I had no idea what I was doing. I was just there for the fun and games, and it was really, and it was exciting. I had, as you can imagine, everything that you would want from a situation that you have no commitment to. So whether that's my material or whether it is the affection and the attention or whatever, all fun and games, right? Later on in my life, it was a tad more serious and it had its complications, but it was incredibly rewarding in terms of personal growth. And I don't regret it.
Oh, what do you mean?
Emily, are you
personal
the
growth?
one who's Ugandan?
When you're older, hopefully you're more self-aware, you're more mature, and you can ask yourself hard-hitting questions. Why am I doing this? What is in it for me? How does it impact the other person or the other person's person? All of those things. And if you actually intentionally do that excruciating work, there's nothing negative about it. You can only grow and grow closer to who you actually are or who you seek to be.
Emily, is
Emily, are you
loyalty and
Ugandan?
discipline important characteristics you look for in a partner?
Can
Yes.
you hear me?
Okay, interesting.
Is there a part B to that question? There should be.
No
Can
further
y'all hear
questions.
me?
There
Yes,
should be.
I
Emily,
have a part B. Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead,
no,
part B.
Is Emily Ugandan?
Yeah, because I was just wondering, like, when you were then in you said you were married, so I'm assuming it was like a loyal, whatever, like relationship.
It depends. It was over 10 years and we went through various phases. Again, I hate to speak in absolute, because there are things like that.
Okay, but were you scared, just for lack of a better word, of there being a mistress, if that makes sense? Did you think that what you did before would happen to you, if that makes sense?
My husband was not that kind of man, but we were incredibly open in our communication.
I was just
in our
gonna say,
marriage.
is this a Ugandan
So
thing?
somebody's trying to ask, was I that kind of woman? There was a portion of the marriage that was open. So I, with his knowledge, got to be that woman.
Wait.
So you were the mistress, and you still got to be mistress being the wife.
Yes.
How greedy.
What?
No,
Brent,
seriously.
Brent, you know when you say the black community is individualistic? This is why. We are breaking
Absolutely
up marriages.
not, because we were together. We were still in a marriage.
Can
and the
you
other
hear me?
person was in a marriage. And you have to...
Okay.
I told you have to ask the right questions.
Wait, no. Stacey's question, please answer it. Is this a Ugandan?
What was Stacey's question,
Stacey, we
sorry?
can't hear you, but you need to basically speak up a bit.
Oh, I said,
she asked, was
is
he
this a
Ugandan?
Ugandan thing? Because as you were talking,
Was who Ugandan?
I realized the Ugandans that I know, this open relationship, open marriage thing is very common. So I wonder if this is a
Yes, it
cultural
is.
thing. No judgment. Wow, that's so
People know what's
interesting.
going on. You just have to communicate.
What? I've got so many
No, I
questions.
don't know if they know what's going on.
Go
but
on,
they're all
shoot.
This isn't for my one.
Also, you don't believe in monogamy? No.
Not for everybody. If it genuinely isn't your thing, please come out and say it's not your thing. Don't try and force yourself into that lane if you cannot do it. For some people, it's absolutely what they want, what they actually need, and how they thrive. But for others, it isn't. And when they don't embrace that, it causes a lot of problems.
So, your relationships were always open then?
Not all of them. And my marriage, for example, wasn't always open. As I said, it was a 10+ year marriage. So we went through the phases and dealt with it accordingly.
Remind us of the question again. No, I'm sorry. I'm just.
Am I the only one who can't hear Stacey?
I'm struggling to hear Stacey as well now.
Vaguely, I can hear vaguely.
I think it's because you guys are on Discord and I'm on Zoom. Maybe there's a connection thing there. Deferring to Brett, I don't know. Or is it I'm not talking loud enough?
No,
I can't really hear.
I can hear you if I was on YouTube, but maybe it's a Discord.
Awkward.
I have no clue, but we can hear you, and I think that is all that matters.
Yeah, we can hear Stacey.
What's the question again, Brett?
There's a community in the
The
chat.
community can hear.
No,
the other
the
people in the
chat
Discord.
can. No, but the people in the chat can hear her.
Yeah,
So
but
it
Emily
really matters.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the
so
topic
you
was
can hear the question, 'cause-
would you let your wife your partner cheat or something?
No,
I
would you
would
forgive?
No,
my
and
partner.
would you forgive
Can I say
them?
something about this
Agree
question?
or disagree? I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
I would forgive my partner if they cheated on me. Agree or disagree?
Jackie.
Can I say something on this one?
Yes, you can.
Give her back the mic.
I think that we have, and this goes without saying, hopefully, we have seriously normalized, like I think it's very ironic that we look to confirm the definition of all things except marriage, partnership, relationship, and apply them. Why is it that big grown adults can't wrap their mind around the definition of what it means to be in a relationship? All these extra adjectives, cool, do them in your own house, so long as they're agreed upon initially. The problem is people be wanting to go rogue when the initial agreement was to be in a normal relationship.
Oh, Stacey, please allow me to interject.
Let her interject.
At your big age, you need to have some dick discipline.
No,
and
but
women
no.
But this is good. But this is Emily. How is this a man's fault? This is Emily.
Please,
we're not
let me
gonna
interject
forget.
here.
Oh,
I'm
this is.
not
Hey,
hearing
Brett,
the
Brett,
excuse.
you need to
I'm not hearing the excuse of, oh, you don't know what could have caused them to cheat. If there was a reason for them to cheat, are they not the one doing it? Can they not come and tell me what's doing them that wants to make them go out? That's a communication issue on top of a discipline issue. So no, what am I? That to ask me if I'm going to take you back is a gaslight. Why can't we be accountable for our actions before we even when we're thinking about them instead of doing them?
Emily responds.
I'm with Stacey on this one.
Yeah, but in this situation, it's not your
and I
partner.
can't quite hear, so I'm struggling. So I'm sorry, is Stacey saying that if you set out to say that we're in an exclusive, monogamous, long-term, lifelong relationship, you should not veer from that at all? Is that what she's saying?
No, she didn't use the word monogamous, but I think relationship is synonymous to monogamous in her definition. It's not in everyone's definition.
No, it's.
But she is saying that once you've agreed something,
there was one definition, and then everyone decided to make their own one. But that's the original definition.
Thank you.
It's not.
What a relationship
I don't think it's fair
is.
for us to assume that everyone wants a relationship means monogamy. Emily is a prime example.
No,
but
when
it comes
just
to
want to
the
address
original
the issue of
definition.
No, but
Yeah,
if we've now entered into it and we've accepted the parameters that I'm entering this relationship, cheating ain't a part of this.
But you know, a lot of people.
This
don't
is
set
what
that
I
out.
want to address, Christy. This is what I want to address.
So we're trying
right?
to say now
You
in
have to be
2025, I must say, as we enter this relationship, cheating
Is
is a non-negotiable.
Imagine
We stray
marrying
further and further
Emily.
from Christ.
But
Wow.
Emily speaks.
Wow.
I want to address this, Christy. I really do, right? And as I say, I'm speaking from my experience, but I also must say to you that I have dealt with, in a sort of counselor capacity, with lots of couples, right? At different stages in their relationships.
You're counselling.
Let's call it that, okay?
Just with Christy.
The best teachers are.
So can I carry on?
It is well.
Karen.
Thank you. What I have seen and what is the reality of any human interaction, even if I took it out of a marriage, right, is that change is inevitable. So we may have started out with hard, and any qualified relationship therapist, whatever, will tell you that you must make room for change. Otherwise, you're going to lose your mind. Because human beings are not rocks. Life is not static. Things will change. Someone in the studio said she just had a baby, and I'm not commenting on her relationship per se, but having a baby is a major life change in a marriage. And there will be things that change. There will be things that you would have thought are hard yeses or hard no's, that the baby comes along and you think, okay, can we rethink this? Right? So just on the basis of human beings being dynamic, of life being dynamic, you cannot enter a marriage thinking that certain things are absolutes. Nothing is an absolute. What should be non-negotiable is the
Emily,
space to have
let me interject, please. Let me interject. So, but by what you're saying, that means you're saying that in every marriage it's inevitable that everyone's going to cheat. Then
no,
I did not
say
interject
that.
on your
Absolutely
interjection.
not. I did not
Why
say that.
must
and
we
you're putting words in my
rethink
mouth.
when it
I
comes
did
to
not
marriage? My
say
God,
that.
can we just think
I said
the
what
first
is
time?
inevitable is change.
Yeah, but is cheating the change?
It could be. For some people, it could be. But for others, it might not be at all. It could be you wanted to work, and now you're saying you don't want to
See,
work.
you had a good premise,
So you
but
wanted
the
to stay at home.
application is mad.
I'm not under the delusion that when you get into a marriage, things don't change. Of course, change is inevitable, but cheating ain't part of that change.
Yeah, the change
To
you're
me-
talking about is your partner gains weight or someone or something
Emily's right
or
in the sense of some things, but it's discipline. Like what Stacey's saying,
Yes.
it's the discipline
Yes.
of it.
Discipline is
you can't be
necessary.
married for
Communication
someone
is
for
necessary.
that long and say that the potential of either of you cheating is not there. But it comes with the
100%.
commitment of the relationship. So I've stepped in, especially marriage. I think your definition of marriage is different. A lot of people think like Emily is one. I think people like Emily should marry.
There's one
people like
definition of
Emily should marry
marriage.
people like
No,
Emily.
why
whereas
not?
The disconnect is when people that are monogamous marry people that if change happens, I don't mind, the kind of thing. So clearly if I have a baby, the discipline is we work on whatever shape my body's in or the moods and stuff. So the discipline to say change has come, but we're going to stick towards it. Whereas Emily, what we're hearing
100%.
is if you like it, go for it.
but monogamy used to be a prerequisite to marriage.
Hold on. Can I just clarify something? That is not what I'm saying, right? What I think are non-negotiables are, one, the willingness to repair when you fall apart, because you will inevitably fall apart. And that goes in tandem with
God
things
forbid.
like communication, right?
But why wouldn't you
You will
communicate
never-
before you fall apart? No, but we can be like
Because
drifting, but we don't have to
no,
drift.
absolutely not. Because when I say fall apart, I mean just, do you not get upset with your partner every now and then? I don't mean the marriage falls apart. I mean, as human beings, you have tension, right? But so there must be a commitment to repair at all costs.
100%.
Yeah. With you
Right,
so far.
exactly.
100%. Yeah, I'm not that. To me, that goes without saying. If we're
Don't
entering
take these
this,
things for granted, is what I'm saying.
yeah, no, but
Don't take them for granted.
yeah, but I'm not me.
No, but Emily's not monogamous in the
The thing is,
first
she
place.
drops
So
nuggets of common sense in between the madness.
no, it's
So
common.
then
No, but it's
yeah.
your madness. But it's
It's
madness
not
to
madness.
you.
It's because the question was madness. We started out with madness, so I carried on with madness.
No,
but
Emily, are you being serious with
I can-
all the things you're saying?
No, she's 100% being serious.
Yeah. Oh, then
I
No,
am.
she's 100% being serious.
I am. I'm dead ass.
I just don't subscribe to
Yeah,
Emily's line of
yeah.
thinking.
You don't have to.
This
You
is-
don't have to. Absolutely not. And
This
it might
is
not
one
be
of
for you,
those
but I will
things when
guarantee
people
you
say
what
if
you
you
will
like it, I
remember
love
if
it.
and when you do get married in a long-term relationship is that change is inevitable. You have to repair and you have to communicate.
Oh, 100%.
But if you're not
that's
committed
so
to the
long
goal
as
of
it's
monogamy,
within
why
within
get
the
married?
bounds
The
of my
first-
vows.
Let me tell you, who you are now is not who you're going to be in 5 years.
No, 100%. But in my commitment into entering that marriage, those commitment of I'm gonna
Change.
whether I'm changing, I think if things fall apart, I'm committed to repairing. Yeah, but
And that's
to
why
me,
that's why I said repair. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But to me, that means like, I don't know, like, because at the end of the day, obviously, they say love isn't me. Love is, some people like to do this whole love is a choice and fairy tale. No, that's not. Love is an active decision to me.
Yeah, you say
so
it's a
you
choice,
choose
that's what
you're saying.
every day
Yeah.
It's a choice,
to
yeah.
be with that person.
Yeah.
So in me
Yeah.
committing to that person and choosing every day, I'm also committing that I'm the outside can't. It
'Cause,
can't
yeah,
come
it's
in.
not like I can't
and
see,
even outside,
yeah.
in terms of, it could be outside people talking.
But this is just a
affecting
discussion about
my marriage.
morality. That's the thing. It's a
So-
discussion on morality. Some people, the things that are morally reprehensible are not seen as it anymore. So yeah, let's add a little bit of that into the relationship, because things that monogamy used to be a prerequisite to marriage. You didn't have to.
To who?
Society.
Emily,
To which
Really?
marriage?
Is
Yeah,
that
People
yeah,
just
let's
like
talk
to
about
add their own
Uganda.
You just,
seasoning.
again,
Is that Veronica?
not all Ugandans, by the way.
But no,
Veronica
Emily,
is in the room.
Ugandan.
Veronica,
I am Ugandan,
babe.
yes.
Can you talk about your
Wait a
culture?
minute.
You know how some things are not culturally acceptable, but is it culturally
Okay, there's
acceptable?
noise coming
cheat?
from where, Veronica? Where's the noise coming
Hold
from?
up, let me just meet everything.
Thanks.
I think Veronica's here.
No.
Like in the studio?
Good evening,
Good evening. How are you?
everybody.
Everybody's fine. I see you out and about.
You can see me.
We can see.
I want
you.
everyone to see my face to see that I'm real
Oh, we believed you.
and I'm not an avatar.
Come on.
Unlike Black Rob, I don't know whether he's Samuel Jackson or the last Avatar. I'm not
AI.
sure.
I'm
He's
AI.
both. He's both.
All right, so I'm going to turn the camera off. But yeah, what was the question? I didn't get it. Sorry, it's noisy out here.
God damn it.
Nah, just get on the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Brent, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna push on now.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. God damn it.
All right, so
Can I just say something?
Please.
No.
yeah, what was the
Did Brent say no?
No, of course you can. Go on. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, Emily, I really appreciate your honesty.
Oh, thank you, Nat.
No, I do, because I think you know, people always say like you live long enough to see stuff, and I think what you were saying, that we become different people, right? I'm probably a little bit older than most people. I don't know.
I would definitely be older than you, Nat.
Yeah, you sound young.
Oh, I don't know. but, or maybe we're similar.
Maybe
like,
we're
in your
similar
30s.
about-
Yeah.
No, babe. No, babe.
No,
I'm
that's
way
that's a
past
big
that.
assumption. How can she
Oh,
say she's older? That's a big assumption.
Let's crack on. Come on.
Okay. No, because I was gonna say, like, obviously I've seen, even like with myself, like I'm late 30s, and yeah, you are a different person. This life, like the person I thought I was when I was 25, 26. So yeah, so I think it's helpful to hear that honesty. You know, obviously we'll all have our own views and our own values, but I think I remember when I was young, I used to be like, oh my god, like I I used to be very like black and white and very like, oh my God, this. But as you get older, you realize that at the very least, you just need to listen and just not understand. But yeah, so I just wanted to say I appreciate your honesty, Emily.
It sounds
You're
like
welcome, Nat. Thank you for that. Thank
sounds
you.
like the battering of life is eroding a lot of people's moralities over time. That's what it sounds like to me. So it's
We
like,
could have a conversation about
Agreed.
morality, but maybe not now.
yeah.
So I think I want to just want to
Brent,
add-
next question,
No,
please.
please,
Yeah.
please. I think it's different from cheating, for example, like, and also thinking that it's normal.
Yeah.
You can do something but still regret, and
Yes.
your morality kicks in and says, "Oh, I actually think I've cheated, but I don't think it was right." Rather than it's cheating and it's part of life, and
Yeah.
changes happen. I think none of us are naive in the room to think that. Or even Stacey's naive to think that you're never going to cheat, never going to want to cheat. Is the desires can always be there, it's a temptation. But it's the discipline to say, I'm in a committed relationship. I'm going to try my hardest to not, even if you've fallen into it in the past.
Which try, I will not.
I would try to my utmost best with the changes. I think we're all smart enough to know that you will change next year. Tomorrow you can change.
100%.
This today is going to change us. So changes is inevitable, but the commitment to stay monogamous is something that I think we want to define as a relationship. When you go into something, you're going in with just that person. Not saying that you will forever, but to the best of your ability. Whereas it sounded as though it's like it happens, things happen, which we all know, but it's not some things that you condone just because it happens and it's part of everyday
Part
life.
and parcel of
It's
marriage.
like it's normal. We know
Which
that
is not what I was saying, by the way, guys.
Sandra.
That's not what I said at all. It might be what was picked up, but that is not what I was saying.
Yeah, no, 'cause I think we all know that, like, if you
Yeah.
have a long course of relationship, one might, or maybe both at some point would want to, but it's the commitment that you have, that you've made with the partner, say, I'm going to try not to. I think that's the key thing.
And even, yes, that's true. But also my point is, if the other person insists that it's something that they want, talk about it. Understand it.
Oh, that open
Try, at
relationship.
least. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be a full-blown open relationship. But all I'm saying is, make room for you to change. Make room for your partner to change. That grace will keep your marriage in.
No, that sounds like there's times
really good
the
stead.
Jada Pinkett of life where you want to.
So she was kind of saying what I was saying, and it's like
She
the
wants
majority
to
erodes
straight
over
you.
time. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
I wasn't on
Appreciate
this
your
before, but you know,
perspective.
life
But now
battered me, so let me do this. So you kind of.
And you've changed. Remember, we're going to change. So
I think we're going around in circles there, but you know, to each
Brent,
their
please,
own.
next
And I'm
question.
sure
Next
Brent
one.
wants us
Please,
to move
Brent.
on. Yeah.
Next question. Black people are superior to any other race. Do you agree or disagree?
Yes.
Good
what's
lord.
this?
Superior how?
Nah.
Yes.
I thought we were gonna be disagreeing.
Enthusiastically.
Oh, actually, no. Okay, so we're
No,
disagreeing.
I mean, again, I'm keen on definitions here, just so that I know what I'm talking about or what we're talking about.
If you
There-
ask us to
there is
define
no
black people, I'm going
further-
to be scared.
No further clarity.
Yeah.
What do you mean by people?
Very funny, very funny.
Do you all not think that's racist?
Yeah, it is.
It's racist.
Bro. Anyway.
It just doesn't even bear picking apart.
It's
Like,
gonna
what
be
are
like
we
black
talking
people can't
about
be
here?
racist, isn't it? Is that what you're
Because
saying?
we're
Yeah.
at the bottom.
No, it's not.
Started
It's,
from the
it's
bottom.
not even
Can we
that.
skip
But
this one, Brent?
when everyone
Can I
else is
just
saying
say
that they're superior
something?
to us, are we
Sure.
questioning them?
A bit
I mean,
unpopular.
we are, but
I've been thinking about versions of this type of question. And obviously like Black Pride and everything. Nah, do not. Let me not say it.
No, please say.
You're not even on camera. Say what we've got.
sometimes when
Well,
you
I'm
hear
not
your
on camera,
please,
but my
they don't
voice
hit.
Please say.
No, okay, guys, don't batter me. And okay,
Come on, let's have it.
so like I've kind of struggled with. There's just certain things that, as a group, we
I think I know what she's
get wrong, right? Like okay, okay. I don't know. I just feel like,
To be clear, the question
where she's
is:
going.
are black people the best? Not are they the smartest?
Okay, I'll give you a small, maybe small example. I live in East London, right? In an area that's being gentrified, like for lack of a better word. And obviously we know the disadvantages of gentrification and all that it does, right? But I don't know, like I'm seeing and I'm like, okay. There's a more kind of communal, like we're all responsible for our space, and people are complaining to like the council and this, and the area has changed.
She's basically
right?
saying black people ain't doing shit in the community. That's what she's just saying.
I'm just
That's
saying,
what she's saying.
That's what she's saying. Yeah, that's what she's trying to get.
She's saying.
But the thing is,
Since they came in,
Yeah. Oh,
my era is better.
yeah, it's better for it.
and obviously, I'm
for
just saying this for
gentrification.
conversation, right? No. I'm here. I'm just obviously, like, please accept that this is also just for conversation, right? So it kind of makes me think. No, and also like things like maybe my experience, like in places where I've worked and whatever, and you see how, like, there's lots of process and thoroughness and organization, like, and if I look at, so for example, I think I mentioned like I'm from Zimbabwe, right? We have our own issues, right? Honestly, like it is a mess, right? If you go to the Zimbabwean embassy in London, in Charing Cross, you step inside, simple, like, painting the indoor thing. You go to the bathroom, like, it's, and you're like, but if I put in another group of people within a month, it would be different. I'm sorry, I know I'm being facetious, just for.
So
for,
basically,
but
you say we
need to
ain't
talk
superior.
about these
Then
things.
what others are superior than us, basically, is what you're saying.
To double down
I
on the
understand
point,
exactly
yeah.
what you're saying, but I
We
still
need to have
agree.
a
Stand on my
conversation
point.
about why is that the case? Like, we're not good at maintaining things and having process. And again, all the caveats in the world.
Can't argue with that.
Because we're culturally superior.
Go on, elaborate.
I'm going to use a very American example. Y'all know I went to Howard, and there's a thing that we say about the HBCUs that we are the best of the best. But when you come in-house, it's just some things that only Black people can mess up. And it's like, that doesn't change the fact that we're the best, but Black people gonna Black people every time.
Wow.
We are culturally superior, and that tops over all the other admin we can't get right.
You haven't explained how.
Huh?
You haven't explained how. You just said we do some stuff wrong. But
What do you mean?
How are we?
Admin type stuff, like we have dorm issues, we have financial.
How are we culturally
issues.
superior in that sense?
We set the standard. Everything models after Black culture. Okay. Music, fashion, lingo, everything is modeled, is a bite of Black culture.
So you're the most influential.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not superior though.
To me it is.
To me.
I would say the reason it's gonna sound mad, but I would say the reason why we get targeted globally, especially given the resources get taken from Africa globally, even Caribbean, is for a reason. It's for a reason.
It's because we got the most resources, the first
yeah,
man.
but I just think us as a people and what that is for a reason, where that certain people have had certain groups have had their struggles and stuff, and yeah, it can be moved past, but there are certain struggles, but yet it's still very unique to us, and there's a reason for that.
There's another group that could say the exact same thing.
Others.
And then that's how problems ensue when you have a
superiority complex.
Yeah.
No.
Really? Okay.
I
Who
get what
can
you're saying
say
with
it?
them.
Why people?
There's another group
The
that
other
could
people you can't
could use the exact same talking points you said,
Yeah.
and justify the stuff they're doing.
No, but I think that's just in their head.
My reason is not the same reasons they have. No.
We're not allowed to say that group. We'll get
No.
in trouble.
The reasons I
Don't say their name.
stated,
Jewish people.
the reasons I stated, they don't have them reasons.
Yeah.
They don't have them reasons. Till today,
They could say it. I'm not saying that it's just there's validity to it, but they could make the same claim.
Yeah, they make
No,
the
they
same.
cannot.
They make the
Not
same
my
claim
examples.
on. They make certain claims, but I'm saying there's a reason why. Over history, for us, that's like how many thousand or whatever
They
years
can make
on.
the exact same claim you're saying. Do you know what I'm saying?
No,
because based
no.
on Stacey's point as well,
No.
no one's copying them. They just own things.
I'm just talking
no
about
one's copying.
the specific
But
line
no one's
of.
copying them with anything.
No,
they don't have any
they
natural
can't
resources.
because in original. I'm challenging my man. We're original.
Yeah,
We're
I was
original.
gonna say that.
I'm
as
not
well.
disagreeing
So
with you.
they can't say that.
Okay.
If people
you're missing my
believe, some
point.
people believe.
No, I
they're
know
the
what you're trying to
original.
say,
Yeah.
but I know what you're trying to say, but there's just I get that they use that aspect of their reasoning, and stuff, and it gets viewed problematically.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah, but being the original man doesn't necessarily make you. I'm always a bit wary of using, because like the whole. I'm always wary of having, because these topics get. I tell you, Iman, sometimes it strays into eugenics if you go a bit too far in saying that we are better than your people are better than other people, etc. Because I think that race is a social construct for the most part, anyway.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
you.
So yeah, I don't think
No, but
anyone's
then
more
look at,
superior than
like,
anyone else.
That's,
So look
that's
at-
nice.
Oh, I thought it
Look
was
at
just
back in the
banter.
days,
I wasn't going into genetics and stuff.
But
Okay,
even if
okay.
you do look at genetics and culture, agriculturally, back at thousands of years ago, if you had the better land, you'd naturally, based on just genetics and environment, you would have the better genes because you're eating better. You're able to you better have the better climate as well. So naturally, you would be superior based on how you've evolved as well. So if you look at like the Chinese culture, they were farmers in the rice community. So you know how we think they're hardworking? They've come from genetically people that work a lot of hours in the day because of how they used to farm. Like agriculture is how we were living back in the days. Whereas like the Western world, you see that they rest a lot because there was times when the harvest was harvest time and the land had to rest and stuff. If you look at Africa, apparently we've got our genes and the East Asian genes are the best to mix with, but we have powerful genes because of whether it's evolution of where we lived. And imagine eating the best of the best food, and you're gonna grow well. Like that's
Neil deGrasse Tyson had this conversation about how like the most genetic diversity is actually within Africa, just because the first man was there. So even though there's
that makes you superior just by birth.
It's more. There's more variety.
But then,
so the tallest people are there, the shortest people are there, the
but then
fastest.
you get superiority by birth. But from just
It's
the
that
minute
words,
you're
though.
born,
We're still
it's
using
seen
a
as
metric
negative.
that is based on race, right?
Say again.
And I think that we're still using a metric that is based on race, and I think that is probably what's the key issue here, isn't it? Race, the metric that we're using.
Yeah.
I think that's what the problem is, and that's why it's difficult to have this conversation with any real, like, gravitas or, like, outcome.
My hot take is if we had
What's
that
our
same
aversion to
mentality, we
race?
would be further. If we had the mentality of yes, I am superior, we would be further, and that's my hot take, and I stand on that.
So
Fair,
we don't
but
have-
I think
what are your
that's-
metrics for
so
further?
averse
Because
to
because I think you're using it as like a your metrics for further, and the hot take I have is that there's people out there that there's communities out there that look like they're doing better than other communities economically, maybe by, and this is where I get all that spiritual, maybe by the metrics of the world, but they're actually doing the worst in the metrics that matter.
That's a good
which
point.
is your soul.
That's a good point. That's a
good
very
point.
good point.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what Stacey said
Yeah.
as well, it looks like we're messy in-house, like the Zimbabwean embassy aspect. But then other indicators, we've got better community. I know we think we don't have community, but we do look after ourselves. If you go back home in Africa and the Caribbean, you don't have old people's home because the community is there to look after old people. You don't have big boy adoption agencies. Well, you do have some, but it's common that somebody will be looking after one cousin or one. So we have that thing that the West are actually paying for. They're setting up WhatsApp groups and apps of loneliness and all those things. But it's a Western thing to be so lonely. Typically, if you were back home, you would have neighbors that you spoke to. Now we don't have neighbors. You're paying for people to look after your kids, and you think that's better. But really, as you're saying, superior according to who? So maybe we have it right. Because a lot of the things I'll give you a silly example. Back in the days in Ghana, I just used to visit Ghana a lot. They used to give drinks in a glass bottle, and you couldn't buy another drink until you gave them a glass
Same
bottle
as
back.
Nigeria.
That's recycling.
Yeah.
That's
They don't do that anymore?
sustainability.
They do that in Kenya.
Yeah, so they did that in Africa, and then we took it away and gave bottles, and now we're trying to go back to the whole sustainability vibe and recycling, reusing. We've been doing that from day. So maybe we were superior, but they keep telling you you're not. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Your lips are not nice. Your lips are big. But then guess what they do?
I don't think that's a fair example because that's
they then copy.
Capitalism driven.
But capitalism is not driven by black people. It's driven predominantly by the West,
but
which
that's
is white
what
people.
Chrissy was talking about in terms of, we would be better by the standards of capitalism, right?
Yes. But we are.
I went to Bali recently, and I was there, and I saw so many like middle class Western white people trying to do eat, love, pray, trying to find some spiritual something or the other. There, I'm just like, you know what I mean, because they were yearning for something that they thought they could find by wearing baggy trousers. Do you know what I mean?
No, but mine is
they're chasing what we have.
Yeah, no, but
So
mine is not. It's not in further in the sense that Africa would be running itself, not them.
But
that's
maybe
what I mean. We would be like. It would be I'm just saying self-sufficiency.
We are self-sufficient
in terms of.
But are you suggesting? Christy,
We are. We just don't know, but we are
because
we've got food. First of all, to be self-sufficient, if you have food and natural resources, you don't actually. We can landlock the whole of Africa and we will sustain ourselves.
I do get what Christy's saying though, and I think that is actually the reason why slavery happened because we Africans didn't need to travel the world. They were like, we got everything we want. Like our ground is our soil is
hold
good.
on, guys.
It was other countries where they were like, these conditions are harsh. Let me find out what's going on elsewhere. So that was the.
But guys, we were voyagers. You know, we were in South America before the Spanish, right?
Yeah, but we weren't trying to take over. We were just like, let's do trade.
No, exactly. Yeah, we were just curious or whatever. But that aside, I think this conversation that we would be better off if we had this mentality is discarding a whole number of factors that have placed Black people or the African continent where it is today. If it was a matter of just, come on, guys, you're superior, change your mind, let's do this, I think we would have attempted that and it would have been successful.
But isn't that what you're saying?
There are 101.
How great we were, we would be invincible.
That's what I mean. I'm just saying, just as an innately,
I don't think it's enough.
When they came,
no, I don't think it's
when
enough.
they came offering trinkets and certain things, and we got and they played like no. We don't go back to where you're from.
We don't need
you.
Nobody would have thought that. Like, that's just not humanly possible.
No,
I don't think it's unique.
That's foresight. That's the hindsight.
No, what I'm saying is, yeah, it is hindsight. But also, I'm sure any people that are visited by a new race or whatever would be curious first. Your initial reaction is not going to be, oh, go away. We don't need anything from you guys. It's like, wait, hold up. Who are you guys? What you doing here? What you got? I think that's the natural thing. That's a human thing to do.
No, but they came in like, we're better than you, so look at what I'm selling.
That's
selling
not how they
this bottle
started.
of water.
That's not how they started.
Nasuna, have we already answered the new question, or we're still on the same one?
We're talking about Black people and superiority and whether we are indeed superior.
I think we sound like I think we sound like a bunch of men with just pretty voices.
Who's this?
Okay.
Who else?
Okay.
Why are we talking about superior and black, white supremacy?
It was a question that was posed, so we've made an attempt.
But don't you feel sometimes that when we speak about it, it should be actually the men identifying what's going on with the world?
Why?
Because they are the ones who are in charge of racism. They're the one who dictate it. I don't think in a woman's essence that we're racist. I don't think we have that mindset of dividing people based on their race.
Have you met white women?
Wow, that's a whole other conversation, and I'm not even sure where to go with it, Veronica. I think there might be some merit to that. I'm completely taken aback, and I don't know, maybe I'll hand it over to the other people to
new party
address.
Trick, man.
Yeah, let's think what to say, because every time we talk about race, I sometimes it just sounds like men with beautiful voices talking, because I don't think women's mindsets work like that. We're very neutral. We're very balanced. So we don't think of the world in a segregated way.
Again, have you met white women?
But then the phrase Karen or the label Karen suggests that there is a tendency, for example, for white women to behave a certain way on the basis of racial differences, right? So that alone makes me question your thesis there.
Yeah, but Karen is holding up the patriarchy for her white man. She's a white pick-me.
But she's a woman nonetheless, and she's doing something that's racist coded or based.
I can't lie.
Exactly, which is uplifting the patriarchy when she shouldn't be doing that.
Brent!
Whether she's white or not.
Are you saying that the black women
Do
aren't
you feel
holding
sometimes
the
us as black
patriarchy?
women, as African women, we feel like we always have to show that we are flexible for the African man? Do you feel sometimes when you speak about segregation and systematic issues, is because you want to make the African man feel comfortable with you?
No, not at all.
Are you sure?
Performative, 110%.
I believe you in this, because I've heard you before, and I think you've attended that before previously, right?
I'm not sure.
What's going on?
Are you the lady who was a divorcee from a white Caucasian man?
Yes.
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying me and you could have some similarities there. Because I watch Meet Us After 7. I liked Yusuf and Gina. I like them.
Shout out to Yusuf and Gina.
Yeah, they were dope. And I can never forget such a charismatic voice as yours.
Thank you, Monica.
You're welcome.
Get a room.
Get a room.
That Black Rob.
What? Is it Black? Is it Samuel Jackson? Is it The Last Avatar? I don't know.
All the above, sis.
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that the Ghanaian queen? Let him speak for himself, babe.
Brett loves this.
Next question.
What is the next question?
Yes, please, and thank you.
All right. Interracial relationships don't dilute black culture, it expands it. Do you agree or disagree?
What?
No.
What are you saying?
Yeah.
Where did you get that question?
No, Brent, say again. Sorry.
Interracial relationships don't dilute black culture, it expands it. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Disagree.
Wow. Okay.
Culture.
Any mix dilutes something because any
Not
integration.
necessarily.
The minute you integrate something, you're
the
mixing
seed?
it.
How come it spreads the seed?
How comes what?
Right? So how about it spreads the culture? So a white family that had no interaction of blackness whatsoever suddenly has blackness introduced and has to deal with blackness. Is that diluting it or expanding it?
Diluting.
Why?
Because you could have gone to their cookout anyway and come back home.
Yes, but
you ever seen Diana Ross and her grandkids?
Family?
Eve and her husband's family dinner.
Why are we talking about Eve? We're talking. Yeah. I'm giving you a live example here, right? If an African woman marries into a Swedish family, she might have the option of shutting down her Africanness, or she could introduce her children into the Swedish family and say, listen, I'm Ugandan. My children names are these Ugandan names. They will learn how to do X, Y, Z because this is what we do where we're doing. And suddenly, or by definition, the Swedish family picks up the things that she introduces.
But
Has she not?
They're also half Swedish, so they can also adopt the
100%.
Swedish side.
Yeah, but who's to say they're going to take it on
both.
anyway?
And
Typically, the kids adopt one culture more than the other, so it's very hardly ever 50-50 all the time. They will normally skew one way.
That is true, but we're not talking about the depths to which it happens. The question was, does it further it or not?
But you just immediately
it doesn't
because you have to share.
expand.
No, but
it doesn't expand the culture. You create
how does
a
it
satellite
expand
culture.
if further down the line those children now all go on to marry Swedish?
But we got.
What if they don't? What if they marry Ugandan?
Like a whole lot of
either way.
Let's be real.
But then you brought it back home.
You brought it back.
What's the point of going back out?
Exactly.
Because you haven't expanded
Which
it.
is
and
why
you haven't.
my
I get what you're saying
opinion
in terms
remains.
of exposure, but you could be a Swedish person's neighbor and then teach them how to eat your food by giving them some of your jollof rice or whatever it is.
But we're not talking about food. We're talking about family.
But food is
You're talking
culture,
about
though.
marriage. You're talking about. But yeah, but
food is
that's
culture.
really reductive, isn't it?
No, that's a big thing.
No, it's not
That's a
reductive at all.
massive-
What was the question? What was the question?
It's a whole lot of what ifs. How about we just don't gamble? How about we
Pardon?
just don't? I said it's a whole lot of what ifs. How about we
What
just
did you
don't
say?
gamble? How about
Don't
we
gamble
don't?
it. Don't
We
gamble,
don't ask
she
ourselves
said.
the question, and we just keep
Oh.
it purely black.
Yeah, but back to the first question that
Superior.
Yeah. Anyway, gonna leave that alone.
No, I never said it was superior. I just said we should just keep it the same.
Do you think
maybe I don't like change?
For example, I know I keep comparing to other cultures, yeah, but do Indians
Can y'all hear that?
Yeah, we heard. Sorry. Do
y'all hear the background? Like, is it loud?
No. Continue.
Do Indians mix their culture and think, yes, fine, we're going to stay dilute when we're not going to dilute, although we're expanding?
But where did this idea come from in the first place? Like, on the one hand, we're saying we're black and we're superior and we set the tone and everybody follows on from us. Da, 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 da. But then at the same time, oh my God, if you step out of the race, no, suddenly the magic powers are diluted.
But it is because of nature. By nature, of
black people are losing.
No, we have to decide what we're saying.
Black people are losing what?
Sorry. Recipes as is. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on.
I'm sorry. I don't need to go outside of my race for by that definition, I'm definitely diluting. So
yeah, 100%.
Well, I don't understand. By that sheer definition, I'm diluting.
The minute I mix with a Nigerian, I've diluted my Ghanaian culture because now the child has to.
Why haven't you told? No, it doesn't have to be.
No, but by default,
absolutism of this.
No, 100% by default, you've diluted it.
Emily, it's diluted because
they're getting the best of both worlds, but you've still diluted.
Yes.
The fact that today I'm eating eba, tomorrow I have to eat benku, I've just diluted it. It doesn't have to be negative, and I think it's a blend of culture is a beautiful thing. But by nature of the word, the minute you mix something is less than the original state because you've mixed it.
Yes.
You haven't strengthened it at all. You haven't mixed it.
True.
But they might expand and then you can explore and appreciate other cultures, but you've 100% mixed it.
So can I just follow on from that? So if, say, you had the Ghana Nigeria mix, right?
Come on.
And so now you have this Ghanaian Nigerian child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they go on to marry a Ghanaian. What are we going to say about that?
But there's still, they might say, for example, the father was Nigerian, they will be walking around with a Nigerian surname, so then it's still diluted to some extent.
So that's just about the name? That's just the name?
Not
culture what they have
name, food. That's what makes a culture.
Some cultures are more compatible than others, though, so I don't think...
No. But
it's not about compatibility. I'm trying to
even just by us being here, the language has already been diluted, and we haven't even mixed. So then you're talking of mixing, and you don't think it's expanding.
Just because I want to go to my Swedish family and teach them my food,
so
it's not necessary.
What has been diluted by us being here again?
Culturally.
What's been diluted? The fact that we're in a room of those of us are in the West.
Oh, can I say something? I don't want to interrupt anyone.
Go on.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if anyone is aware, but you know the last name thing, it's not universal.
No.
So speaking for my tribe in Kenya, which is Kikuyu. So I'm a bit of Kikuyu, Masai, and Oromo, right? So it's not an obligation for women to take the last name of the man or even to give the children the man's name. It's a very matriarchal tribe. Yeah, it's a very matriarchal tribe.
This is why I'm finding it reductive, yes. Because
so the world is universal
as well. Yeah. So I have names from my mother's tribe. I have names from my father's side. So if you're going to bring it down to names, you're going to bring it down to food.
We never just said it was just names, though. We didn't just say just names.
No,
I literally just mentioned language.
You didn't proceed, but the focus is the name.
Why's the focus the name? Why's the focus the name?
You know, that was mentioned.
No, somebody mentioned name and somebody mentioned food.
But let's bring it back to name, though. So, for example, I'm from a matriarchal family, and we do that as well, where, first of all, a lot of cultures, like Ghanaians, typically, they'll name... A surname will be based on something. So if you have the second boy or whatever is called Menu, the third is Mensa. There's a reason for certain names, yeah? But if I then married a Nigerian, they'll have a different format of how they name people. If I marry a British person, you can't have both formats. You can only have one.
Yes, you can. I'm giving you an example of that. I have both formats from where I'm from. Right?
And then if you have a kid, they can't take all four formats. They've got to.
They can actually. They
how
can.
does that support your argument? It's not diluting.
Is your surname? Do you have a surname?
So Natsuna. Okay, so let me explain this. My father is a Muganda. My mother is a Machiga. Right? I have a Chiganda name. I have a Chichiga name. My children are half Ugandan, half British. They have Chiganda, Chichiga, and British names. So do you see how your argument falls apart?
What's their last name?
Why is the surname
All right,
most
my
important?
my Ghanaian queen. You see me, yeah?
Why are you
I procreated
focusing
with a
on the
Nigerian
surname?
man. Hold on, my Ugandan queen. Hold on, just 1 second. I procreated with a Nigerian man, right? And because my tribe is very matriarchal, we had a conversation, and I said to him, the child will have my last name. And that's what happened.
God forbid.
And I said to him, you can name him the first name and he can have your middle name, but that last name is mine. So
but
it can
Nigerian
happen.
culture, the last name is so important. So therefore, you
No, but
listen.
My Ghanaian queen, I'm not Nigerian.
But
and this is another thing that Nigerian people need to understand.
But your child is Nigerian.
This is another thing that Nigerian people need to understand. If the woman is not Nigerian, she doesn't care about that.
You just proving our point.
She created that
just
child.
literally made the
She
point.
created that child.
You're proving the point. The child
created that child for 9 months. She gave that child a heart, a lung, fingers and toes, hair, eyeballs, ears to hear, and eyes to see. So she's not concerned about the man being Nigerian, because the men come and go. They're not always there to take care of their children. The child is always yours. That's in our tribal culture. The child is always yours. So whether the man is Nigerian or not, we don't care about that.
Okay.
If he got with a Nigerian woman, then she would consider that. But if you venture out, understand that every woman is different. Every woman is different. And we don't follow what Nigerian men do. We're not patriarchal.
Why?
Just like my Ugandan woman just said here, we're very matriarchal. We don't do them kind of things. We don't do them kind of things. Yeah, we don't do them things.
To the people in the studio, can I just say something?
You've proven our point.
Yeah, shout out to SK Veronica for TDA president. That's what's up.
It's
eroded because you said you don't.
I'm going outside my race. These are both black people. If I'm now going outside my race, will that not happen?
So Emily, can you see the point we've made?
I understand that you saying what Veronica has said about the Nigerian example is emphasizing your point. But can you please address my point, where there is a tribe or a culture where surname, for example, is not paramount, right? It's just whatever names they have. In fact, some tribes, surname is completely irrelevant. Your name is Kenya, about... So, for example,
my tribe, I'm Luo.
Clan. The clan that I'm from, my father's side, my name has to be identifiable for that particular clan, and that lineage. And that's all that matters.
But this is kind of reductive. We talked about culture.
No, it's not. Because what if your husband says, my middle name is I don't want the clan. I've seen situations where two cultures, one said, I don't want this name on my child's birth certificate. And the other said, I do. And because of that, it was a big issue because of the cultural differences and preferences. But if they married the same, they wouldn't have that issue. Say it again.
Someone has to give up some ground.
Yeah,
but this is what happened when women speak.
Can I jump in with the surname?
We get a little bit too personal when we shouldn't.
Mo was speaking.
Hello, yeah, can I just jump in with the surname thing? Because I'm Somali, and from my surname, I can trace it back to, like, literally the creator of the whole country of Somalia. Yeah, that's what
so imagine you marrying Veronica or someone like Veronica, and then she's saying, I don't want the surname. Your child
That's impossible.
Thank you. But if you married someone from your tribe, they would fully understand it, and there'd be no question because they understand it as well. And this is the point.
Which is why we
exactly.
should
be
clearly
I really don't understand why we're so hyper-focused on name right now.
Exactly.
Because there are so many other things.
There
are so many other things in where the culture will dilute.
But that's what makes culture, though. So
I don't understand why we're so hyper-focused
if I see, for example, if I see someone's surname, if I see an adult, if I see a female surname, I know that she's either Ghanaian or married to Ghanaian. If I see someone called Mensa or Ajepong or whatever, I know where they're from immediately by name. So name is so important.
No, I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying we're so hyper-focused on it because I'm saying in this point we're trying to make, we're answering the question. I'm saying, so for instance, my great uncle, he's obviously Nigerian, married a Norwegian. Do you know what happened? Every Christmas, when it was Christmas time, went to the house. She now said at a certain time, food needs to be packed up. No one cannot eat past a certain time.
That's the culture.
culturally, Nigeria,
And that's
the
the
food
last
is
time
laid
we have
out,
Christmas at your
whatever
house, child.
everyone is enjoying. Eat what you like. Food is there to be enjoyed. She said, nope. Pack up, everybody. Get your containers. He will go to my mum. He will go to my mum and say, "Oh no, go quickly. Quick before she packs it up." He's Nigerian.
Oh, Christy.
He's Nigerian.
Christy, just hold on. Christy.
He's not. Well, can I finish? Yeah. He's Nigerian. His children, obviously half Norwegian, half Nigerian. They don't know a lick of Yoruba. They don't know a lick of Yoruba, but you know what they know? They know Norwegian.
Of course, culture
they know how to
is normally
speak
by
Norwegian.
the
They know how to speak Norwegian.
Yep.
Then they've got a Nigerian surname.
Yeah.
They've got a Nigerian surname. When they went out into the world, went to uni,
Changed.
they came back. They came back and was like, "Dad, how can you do me like this?" You know what they said? They said, "Wherever I'm called this surname, and people are they are mocking me because I don't know my culture."
Therefore, it's diluted.
But
So
Christy,
therefore, just by that sheer fact,
Christy.
it dilutes.
the
She chose her
household.
Norwegian culture
Women are
over
the
the Nigerian
teachers,
culture.
the mothers is
and
the
that was
Christy, just
president.
a second, Christy. Isn't that a parenting issue? Isn't that a couple's
No, but that
issue?
happens. It happens.
No, but
you're
it's
right.
no,
One
but
One
We're not
culture
debating
normally
that.
dominates. We don't know which one it'll be, but one culture
you're at
dominates.
home, you're at home. You have to teach religion. You have to teach morals.
You don't have to teach
math and
religion.
English, and then you have to teach food.
No, you don't have to teach math and English. What do you mean?
Oh,
What's
sister,
going
what?
on here, guys?
Girl, you've got to read at home. The school, you've got
Hello?
a reading log. You've definitely got to
As
read
parents,
at home.
you're
And
not
then-
teaching
And then
those
by the
things.
time you
Let's
come,
go-
I've got to teach Norwegian to my child because first of all, it's easy for
Sorry,
me to teach
is
my
this
mother
Jackie
tongue.
who's speaking?
No, I'm just saying.
confused.
I'm saying you have to be very intentional when you have a mixed. You got to be intentional
Yes,
anyways.
and you can do
less
it.
of then having a mixed home. There's not enough time to then say I'm going to teach them Norwegian. Sorry, there can be enough time if we're very intentional, but it can be easily missed. Whereas I think
Can
the
I
point we're
ask
trying to make is
how
it
you
would have been
say this is
easier.
taught?
It would have been easier if mum and dad were from the same culture, because when they're not from the same culture, you have to be double down on the intentionality of passing down your culture. So it's easy for the mother to pass down her mother tongue because she's speaking to the children, but for her to say, I'm going to learn Yoruba and then teach my child, that's an extra added effort that they have to be intentional about. Whereas if they were both Norwegian, it'd be easy. There'll be nothing there to be intentional about.
So yes, it can be easy, but this is not the question. I feel like we've veered away from the original question, right? We have, because now we're breaking down how do you exercise this particular thing.
100%. I think we're answering the question.
No, we're answering the question.
I feel like we are.
I think that's part of the question.
I think the answer is
so
it does dilute.
We already answered it.
My stance is my stance.
It does dilute.
It
It has
is what
been
it is.
diluted. The man's children.
Do you know there was this thing going around online about how they said that you could tell which parent was black or which parent was white with a mixed race child based on the hair of the child. Based on if the child had braids or if they just left it in whatever, because culturally a lot of the times if the mother was black, they were saying that they would actually do all these different styles with the hair and stuff like that. And
can I give you an example, Black Room?
Go on.
My children are mixed race. I have a daughter who's 11, right? I don't have time for her hair. I just don't care. I leave it wild and free at every opportunity, right? So if you bump into my daughter walking down the street and you identified as a mixed race girl, you would think that girl has a white mom.
It's not common though. But then no. If you laid out 10 mixed race kids, 10 mixed race girls, you would find the majority of the ones who hairs are laid.
But this is not how we speak about these things.
The
you
exception
see,
rule
this is
does
part
not
of my
disprove the
problem.
rule.
But this is my problem with how we speak about these things. You speak in absolutism.
I speak in macro, not absolutes.
No,
not you, Black Rob.
guys.
Okay.
Why do we have to disclaim everything? Can I say something quickly?
Can we bring the love back in the room? Can we bring the love back in the room?
Sorry, let Stacey speak.
Sorry, Stacey saying something.
Yeah, I was even going to ask where she is.
I'm on Zoom. I was gonna say I think this is a very podcast habit. We don't have to disclaim everything. Surely you know that we're not speaking in absolutes. You can generally say, for the most part, if a line of 10 mixed women were in front of us, you wouldn't be 100% accurate, but you'd probably be able to guess the majority who has the black mom versus who has the white mom. We know it's not absolute. We don't have to disclaim, guys. Discernment is a muscle we need to exercise a little bit more.
I'm big on disclaiming and nuance.
No,
I am, because
yes, but we can't disclaim every single thing, and I think it's a habit that I would hate for us to set the precedent of doing.
Especially when
there should be,
for the most part, we're speaking with so much vim about so many things that we don't always have experience of.
No, I think
so. If somebody's coming to you, if somebody's coming to you and saying, "Look, I mean, actually, a mixed race household, and this is how it works," there should be room for that opinion to be heard.
But see, the way that I'm thinking that it should go is more like everyone, you say what you need to say. You don't have to have 3,000 disclaimers. And if you have an alternative experience and you say, oh, interesting that that's your experience. This is my experience. But you don't have to say, well, that's not everybody. Like, obviously, because you're giving an example of an outlier. I just don't want to set the precedent that we have to disclaim every single thing because you'll just be speaking in
We're generalizing.
infinite disclaimers. Yeah.
It's okay to generalize and say the majority, as you say, macro level.
But only one or two people have said.
Can I just say, if you're for interracial relationships, you're gonna have this view. You would say it's not it's not a dilution. For me, who I'm not, it's a dilution to me. So it's that's
that's the excellent way of putting it.
Intertribal. I'm a combination of all those things. So
but
maybe.
Emily, we're on different sides of this. You ready? You should know me.
That's actually an excellent way of putting it.
Oh yeah, BOE.
Exactly.
Yes.
So therefore, I'm gonna only see it that way.
So
Emily, you know what's so ironic about the way you just explained it, Christy? It goes back to the example we were just saying about the line of mixed women. You'll be able to tell who has a white mom versus who has a black mom. The way you respond to that question is very telling. If you think that it doesn't dilute, we know who you's procreating.
And it's not bad. Also, no, but it's also not bad. I think it makes it sound like it's bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not negative. It's just telling.
Yeah,
it's context exclusive.
Yeah, there's some people that are exclusively only black, and some people I prefer. Like Christy's only black. Some people are dating black, but they're not opposed to others. So it's not bad. But the question is, would your culture be diluted? Christy's point is, even being here is diluting the culture. Talk less of then marrying out, and it's not bad. It's just like, okay, my culture. But sometimes some people actually are more actively trying to portray their culture within their interracial relationship to kind of keep it alive.
Yes,
because
and that's
of that.
kind of the point that I was trying to make.
I agree with that. But by default as well, the child is also blessed with two nationalities. So you can't disregard the other just because we think, quote unquote, we're superior or is the black culture. They're equally having to embrace both cultures. But as a default, to equally embrace one, you're going to drop some sometimes, or it's going to be mixed. You're going to eat bangers and mash at home sometimes. You're going to eat jollof rice sometimes. You've diluted the culture. If you were in Ghana, you might just be eating pizza once in a while. Do you know what I mean? So by travel and integration breeds dilution for a new kind of culture as well. Similar to how black culture has been evolved in America. They started off as Africans and now they evolved with a mix of all these things and now they've a completely new culture. So in 4 generations time, England will be like that because most people, even if they're fully black, they might be Ghanaian, Nigerian, Igbo, Ugandan, whatever it may be. Then in the end, we'll be called Black British.
Yeah, the Black British will be
you
something.
can't deny that it's going to be dilution of. No, but I'm saying in 4 generations' time, we won't be able to say I'm from Ghana. We might say,
and there you have it.
I'm Black British because I've got too many mixes in me. I'm just Black British.
Okay, can we share the panel? Just 1 second, because we need to be careful. Let's be careful with the words we're using because diluting means weaken.
No.
And, it means weak.
It's the definition of diluting is diluting. If I mix something, I'm diluting it. It's not a negative thing. You're saying it's negative. No, I'm not trying to say.
My sister, I'm not directing it at you. I'm just saying, as all of us on the panel, diluting actually means making something weak. Yeah, we are already aware.
How would you? What substitute word of this
conversation? What you ask me about question?
Can I finish?
All right.
Can I finish saying what I'm saying?
Cue.
Because that didn't interrupt
I've been
anyone.
about a question, so we're finishing and then we're going on to the next question.
Can I finish this real quickly, Brent?
Impossible.
That's not fair.
Y'all have known this from now. Anytime you bring me in, I'm changing the subject. Is prioritizing black-owned businesses...
Fair,
Sorry,
Brent.
can I just ask the question, please? Thank you. Is prioritizing black-owned businesses a realistic strategy for long-term economic empowerment?
Say again.
Yes.
Is prioritizing black-owned businesses a realistic strategy for long-term economic empowerment?
Can we let the person who was cut off go first since they didn't get a chance to finish their thought? I think that would be fair and polite.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Stacey. Thank you so much. And when I asked about where was you, it's because I wanted you here. So I was wondering why she's so quiet. Where is she? That's my sister.
I'm
That's my
live and
Kenya
direct
sister.
from my home
I'm going to ask
studio.
about my people then. So basically,
Go for
I
it. What's your
think it
thoughts?
would be quite ignorant to exclude other nations because businesses evolve economics. So if you want your business to be well established and to go far, you need every demographic in there supporting it. But obviously, if you're aiming at the Black community, then that's important too. But you have to have an open perspective when you're an entrepreneur or a co-founder of anything. Because if you're caught telling someone, oh, you can't come into my business because it's Black owned and I only want Black customers, that's
I think you're misunderstanding the
Yeah, I
question.
think
no, I didn't fail to understand the question. Just let me finish answer the question.
Go on then.
And then you can have your input.
Go for it.
So if you think I've failed to answer the question correctly, I will kindly ask Brent to repeat the question again. Can you do that for me?
I can.
Thank you.
I will change it.
Oh my days.
Is prioritizing Black-owned businesses a realistic strategy for long-term economic empowerment?
Okay. Is prioritizing Black businesses a what? A priority.
Sorry. Can I just have Veronica hear my voice, please? Thank you. Is prioritizing,
Thank you, Brent.
You're welcome. Is prioritizing Black-owned businesses a realistic strategy for long-term economic empowerment?
Yes.
Yes, but to prioritize it, you need to have every demographic to do that, to have that business continue to have its success. You can't just base it on one demographic. I don't think it would work to some certain extent because as Black people, we love wearing Louis Vuitton. That's not Black owned. Gucci, Prada.
So
every demographic goes there to buy that.
But then what if
Yeah,
you
because
prioritize
we
the Black
prioritize
designer?
that because it's a name brand. We want to be seen with a name brand.
So the
We
question
want to be
is-
seen that we have money.
No, so the question is, if everybody was then to put money into a Black designer, would it be sustainable, or would it do well?
If
So
everybody was Black.
No, if every Black person did that. So
Okay,
someone-
it would be an intermediate strength.
Mm.
But if you want to master the strength, you have to include every demographic. Just like Google.
I see
just
what
like
you're
Apple.
saying.
That's
I
not
see
what
what you're
Nick and
saying.
Crinny supports that
No, your
business.
target audience wouldn't just be Black. We're talking about us, the
No,
buyers.
she's answering the question. She's saying that in order for it, like,
So
yeah,
just
she's
jump in.
basically agreeing
I
with
think
us, but
it
she's
would
saying in order for it
empower
to really
the
thrive,
No.
everyone
Hold
needs to
on,
participate.
Black Rob. Let Stacey say what she wants to
Stacey's
say.
still speaking.
Wasn't me.
I was
wasn't Black
saying
Rob.
that I think what Veronica is saying is that yes, a short answer to the question, yes, but in order for it to really take off and thrive to those heights, we would still need the customers to also be not just exclusively Black. I don't think that's
from the
wrong
business
necessarily.
point, your target audience shouldn't just be Black. So maybe when sometimes some Black websites they'll write Black owned. Maybe not that, but the question is us prioritizing Black businesses. So us, the customer, if we only shop Black, would it help? If someone said there's only 3% of Black people in the UK, if all 3% of us bought the Black man's water, bought the Black man's plantain chips, would it do well? Not is the Black man's water only targeting, they've got black, gold, green on their labeling. That's not what they're asking.
You know why I
And then
think
to even add on to
Veronica's
that,
answer
I'm
is
even
even more
thinking both
important.
ways in prioritizing us being owners of businesses. That also pushes us forward economically. So on both ends. So that's how I see it. It is definitely.
We're prioritizing.
If we're prioritizing.
So Black hair products, you're buying the ones that are Black owned, the new Black ones that are organic, that isn't as name brand as the big ones. You're going there. You're going to the Black hair shops that's got the Black owner.
Yep.
Maybe you're going on Amazon. You're going out of your way. It might cost £2 extra, but you're going out of your way not to find the cheapest thing. You're going to Black businesses. Would our businesses thrive? Similar to other communities that patronize themselves and they keep their money rotating 7 times round. You know the community. They do well because they patronize each other. They're not looking at anyone else to come and support them. They do it themselves. They're not the majority in this country. They're a minority, a powerful minority, but they're still a minority nonetheless. So if they can do it, why can't we?
Can I answer that question? Why can't we?
Go for it.
Because I think very often when we have the conversation about the Black community, we seem to think of the Black community as a monolith. And yet we are far from it. And our divisions don't allow us to take the same route as that particular demographic that we cannot name. We have distinct differences that keep us from this sort of cohesion.
Why?
That's true. But in this situation, I don't think that matters.
So if, for example, we all use the same hair no, but we all use the same hair products. What does the differentiation, why does it matter? The diversity in our communities, because that community is not monolithic. If you go to Stamford Hill, they're very different from the ones that live in St. John's Wood.
Okay, but what they have is a singular factor that keeps them together, and I don't think we have that beyond calling ourselves a Black community. Factor? Do we really want to discuss the community?
Is it the religion? No, genuinely, because they're not from the same countries. They're not from the same countries at all.
And the culture.
While that is true, that there's Black people are not a monolith, and we have like lots of different things that differentiate. When it comes to economic power and circulating your capital, this is one of the few things in the Black community where not being a monolith actually doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So this is one of the few situations where we can actually buy together and just spend our money.
Okay, why has it not worked thus far?
Yeah, but Emily,
I'm only saying this because I'm just trying to because you kind of derailed it with that and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Emily, the reason why it hasn't is because we don't prioritize it.
Yeah.
That's why it hasn't worked.
Because we haven't.
Why don't we prioritize?
Can I also
no, because we're going to be angry when the guy at the top whose business it is keeps all the money for himself and doesn't put back in the community where they won't.
I know why. I got to answer why we don't
prioritize. Stacey.
Yeah, the owner of the business. So we will empower one person, but we would be expecting it to empower the rest of the community, which you wouldn't.
It's just business.
Because again, it comes down to capitalism. It's not social venture sort of thing.
I was going to say, ironically, going back to Veronica's initial point.
Maybe they can't hear you. Sorry, Stacey. Maybe it's because they can't hear you.
Sorry, Stacey speaking. Yeah, sorry, Stacey. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Stacey. I can't hear you. I understand there's a disconnect with the Zoom and the Discord. No issues. I was going to say, ironically, going back to Veronica's initial point, the question was saying, if we repeat the question, Brent, just because a part of my answer requires me to reference that verbatim. You said,
let me read it.
I'm going to change the question.
Yeah.
No, Stacey.
No, just say it real quick.
Is prioritizing Black-owned businesses a realistic strategy for long-term economic empowerment?
The reason why I think it's beneficial for long-term economic empowerment, what Veronica said and what we were talking about earlier in terms of Black superiority and Black cultural influence, Black people, when it comes to certain things, I'm going to use fashion as an example. We often influence culture. What we put on sets trends. And if Black people supported Black companies and put those at the forefront, imagine how other cultures would buy in, given the way they already buy into the different cultural standards we set when it comes to fashion, when it comes to music, etc. So merely by us shopping with ourselves and pushing that and prioritizing that, already we set trends, people are going to follow them, and the money's going to continue to funnel into our communities and circulate further and further and further. I use fashion as an example because it's something that's pretty easily digestible. Veronica mentioned we Black people like brands. We like to show we got
Everyone
it, right?
Likes brands, to be
if we started shopping, if we started, putting more money into these Black luxury brands, let me not even put luxury in quotes, but luxury brands, imagine how that's going to be. We saw what happened with Brandon Blackwood, Telfar, how their platforms have increased so much, not just in the Black space, but in the general fashion space, merely by Black people making an effort to prioritize supporting those Black businesses. So yes, I think it's not only going to impact positively how the dollar circulates in our communities, but just in general, the way we influence other communities to shop, especially in those specific areas like fashion, music, and entertainment. It's going to drive a lot of economic growth for us.
I've got a question. This is a genuine question. do businesses do well based on purchases or funding and investment? So I find that some businesses, they get money pumped in and it's like, oh, this business is worth X amount. But is it worth X amount because some angel investor or whatever, they've gone through the seed funding?
When you go to tech, it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all about valuation.
I feel like, I don't feel like it's genuine real sales. It's more so how much people...
Unless it's brick and mortar businesses.
So a lot of times we think black businesses are not doing well, but they actually are in terms of purchase and sales, but they just don't have the big backing that's with them, that someone's pumped in £500,000 or £1 million and now the company's worth X amount. Look at Grassfields or whatever. Like
even Mayo hair.
Yeah.
Look what that was for the
they got bought out, did they?
But they became so large and then like they got to the point where the white women on TikTok were using the hair oil.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and also economics is so important. Like we spoke about, to go full circle at the beginning, we were talking about how like maybe we say that a lot of black men don't protest as much and stuff like that. So one of the best things you could do for the empowerment of your people is to get rich, because there's a saying that what's his name, Pablo Escobar, plata or plomo. It's either silver or lead. That's the only way you can get people to respect you. It's either you get it in blood or you have so much economic power that they even if they don't like you, they have to respect you. And right now, as black people, we don't really have either. We can't show military might. Like you couldn't do something to a Chinese person in certain countries because they got the backing of their like a Chinese person in Africa. If they did something mad, they could just get pulled out by their country, and then also they just got so much infrastructure and spending going into these countries. So we need to get economically to a place where they may not like you, but they fear what will happen if they mess with you.
Repercussions.
Yeah.
No, you might have to mute yourself. Excellent point in the chat. Can I don't want to interrupt anyone on the Discord. Maggie made
I recently
excellent
went
point
to
in the chat.
A new restaurant that is black owned. 2 of the owners are black. I don't even like the word black, but one of the older owners is a she's a saxophonist. She plays the saxophone. I love jazz, so I go to jazz cafes. But she opened up a restaurant with another guy. There we go, sis. And I went because you may not think I don't love my melanated people, but I do. I am assertive with you lot as well, because I see the flaws that we have, and customer service is one of them. Our attitudes to each other is another. Speaking as a melanated woman, every time I approach a melanated woman, it's not a smile first. It's not gentle. It's not kind. It's confrontational.
No.
And yes, we can say it's society's, the pressure, this and that. But let's be honest, we're rude to each other and we're not there for each other, even when we try.
Disagree.
So when I went to this establishment, I took my mother and father, because it was New Year's Eve, and we wanted to celebrate as a family. I tell you not, we didn't order nothing. We didn't do nothing. We arrived 15 minutes before promptly, and we was told, oh, you're early, because our stereotype is we're late for everything. So that was strike one. When it's time to sit down, it's a problem. Attitude, we're not even being asked to take our coats, none of that. Okay, I say to my mom and dad, should we go somewhere else? Because I don't feel comfortable here. And they said, that's fine. As we're about to leave, I said, you know what? Let me go to the restroom. Go to the restroom. I come across a Becky, a Karen, which you will call her. But I came across a Caucasian woman, beautiful, looked stunning. And she said to me, oh, wow, you look so beautiful. Oh, who you here with? I said, I'm here with my family, but I'm thinking about going. She's like, you know what? I'm not going to lie. I think I'm going to go as well. Because when I did the reservation, they said I'm going to have a set menu. But when I got here, they said that I can't get in anymore. And I'm like, raw, is that true? So it shows that it doesn't matter what race or color you are. We don't have that service. So even when you have melanated people that come and give that support and want to give that support, we end up leaving before we even pay, before we even purchase anything, because from the moment we walked in, we were shown that we're nothing. And that's another thing. As our community, we need to identify that, because we try to hide that, like we're gracious as ever. We're not.
No one
We don't
hypes me up
have
more
those
than a black female
credentials.
stranger. I'm sorry.
We don't have
like,
those
I get
credentials.
hyped
to
up
talk
by
to
black
people.
women
the experience that you've had,
regularly.
I've had it
Well,
in
maybe because
I've had it in a
those
Italian spot. I've had it in a Chinese spot. I've had the same experience.
Why don't you ladies
Same
want to agree
experience
with
you're
me and
saying
just say,
I've had it
Veronica, you're right?
in
You're
other
telling me,
races.
Christine,
So
that you've never
to say,
experienced
can
that
I finish?
before.
I'll let you.
Veronica,
I said, to say that that's just specific to only us, and I'm not
I
saying
didn't say
it's not a problem that
specifically
we don't.
only us.
There's not. We need to improve on customer service, but that's not unique to also us.
And
Let's
that
be
also
clear.
wasn't the black owner. That was a worker there. She could work anywhere. She could work in Nando's with the same attitude. So it's not the
Ladies,
black
I'm
owner.
speaking as a
I've gone
melanated
into a spot
woman.
where I walked
Veronica,
in,
we're
she did
not
not even
denying
acknowledge
that.
me. And this
We're
is
not
a white
denying
establishment.
that.
Racism, yeah.
Yeah, she didn't acknowledge me. She just, and I'm
Yes, and
standing
that
here,
happens.
Veronica,
and I'm
And that
thinking,
happens.
hold
I
on, hold on a
agree.
rude,
second.
Yeah.
so rude.
But however, when
Veronica,
we're going out of our way to give that support because we want to see each other thrive, and we don't get that, it hurts a little bit more because you see her as you.
I think it's the
So
mindset you have.
can
when
I
she
owning
can I
behaves like that
interject?
towards you, you do feel it a lot more. And all I'm saying is that we
Ver-
don't have to say that we always experience that, but we have to agree that
But
we
that means
do
you have
experience that
a higher
within the
expectation
melanated
for
community.
the
We're
new
not that
right,
black
like
nice
can I
to
restaurant
can
each
I
other.
can I
You have a
can
high
I
expectation. Sorry, you
elaborate
have
a
a
little
high
bit more?
expectation of the black owner over the Italian owner. If you went and the Italian owner wasn't treating you well, you wouldn't mind it because you said you came just to support her. You're more burnt, but you should
I
treat it
listened to
equally.
Jazz. You didn't hear the part that I said I listened to Jazz?
Wait a
And she's
second,
an
Veronica.
OBE
Wait a
award
second.
winner.
She's really good. I really like her.
Yeah, I
Can
listen to
she
that
hear
music.
me?
I go to jazz cafes. So I went there also to find out that there's a live restaurant that's owned by melanated people. I want to go because
Keep
the
going.
jazz restaurants that I go to are Caucasian,
Keep going.
and they're
And
either
you'll
in
get better.
Camden or South Kensington.
Keep going.
So
We'll give
all
them
I'm saying,
feedback
I'm sharing
on the
you
side.
with, I'm sharing my experience with you, and all I'm saying as melanated people, we also have to be truthful that
And we
we
also have
are
to give each
not
other
that
grace.
generous with
Yeah.
each other.
Keep going.
We're
Keep
not that
going.
generous with each
Can
other. We
can
act
I
like we
say
are, but
something
we're
before
not.
Brent
Okay,
changes the
Stacey's
question?
gonna talk.
Just before Brent changes the question, because on this hill we can go in 36 different circles. I think, Veronica, the issue is less about the lack of customer service in our businesses. I think we all recognize that a lot of times our businesses have work to do. The problem that we're calling out, and I think that's something that everybody needs to be more conscious of, because sometimes we do it subconsciously when we go to these Black businesses with the intention to support Black businesses. For some reason, it's become a habit to subconsciously, from the moment that you walk in, overanalyze every single, let me not say overanalyze, be overcritical of every single experience in ways that you wouldn't at other businesses off rip. And that's not to hold ourselves accountable. It's just recognizing the change in perspective off rip. When I go to another restaurant, I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, they didn't, they asked me, oh, you're on time. Like, no, it's actually pretty normal for people to be late to their reservation. I'm not charging it to the fact that they're Black, so they're expecting me. No, I'm not like that. That is something that, because it's a Black business, you are subconsciously looking for things to be perfect. And I think that's a habit that we need to get out of, because oftentimes when they fall just short of perfect, that small thing gets amplified and it becomes ammo as to why people shouldn't support Black businesses, and it's counterproductive to circulating that Black dollar that we so badly want to and need to circulate. So I respect that was your experience. Like I said earlier, I understand that we're not generalizing. People do have their own experiences, and they should and can speak to that. I haven't had that experience often, thank God. But when I do, I mention it, but I don't. I try to be more intentional about not being overcritical and making that the overall PR statement on Black businesses. That's my piece.
Yeah, I agree with Stacey.
It's okay to express attraction to others while in a relationship. Do you agree or disagree?
Attraction or admiration, like, or
Attraction.
No.
Emily, why will you take this one?
Express to who?
It's
I'm so
okay
dead.
to express attraction to someone.
Who am I expressing it to?
Somebody
am I telling
that-
my friend I think that Idris Elba is hot, or am I telling my husband that Idris Elba is hot?
To the person, maybe, I'm assuming. Would you
To
tell
the- to
someone,
Idris Elba.
if you're in a relationship and you see someone that is good looking, what would you say? What would you do?
No, I don't think it's okay to go out to tell Idris Elba that I think you're hot.
What, tell the person or tell your partner
I
that
didn't
person's
say-
hot? Which one is it?
This is what I'm asking.
Let's assume you're
I've
telling
been
the
told it's
person.
Idris Elba.
No, because I think if you
Idris
tell your
Elba.
partners in banter, like, oh, he's
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, that's fine.
But no, to telling the
I can
person.
tell my partner.
No,
I
no,
can
no,
tell
no.
my partner.
Telling the
of course.
person.
And then
With
what
what
happens after that?
intention?
How does that conversation go after that?
This. I said with what intention?
Is But then what intention would the person
That's
have
what
if you're
matters.
saying they're attractive? Or like, hey, I find you attractive, or you're attractive.
No, if I'm sitting with Brent and Brent is my husband, and then I see Idris Elba, and I go out of my way to tell Idris Elba, I think you're hot. What am I after?
Threesome.
There's lines that can be.
Black Rob.
It's true.
No, my
question motivation.
my
That's
intention
not how
matters.
a
Is what I'm
threesome works,
saying.
bro. I'm not taking part in that.
Oh yeah.
Brett can hold the
I'm
camera.
not enjoying Idris Elba. I'm
I was
sorry.
married to you. If I was married to you, I would not be with Emily.
Get the
Clearly.
Nasty one.
I'm not the bottom.
What a shame.
Wow.
Wow. No, it depends on what the intention is. Really, that's my answer. What's my intention?
What other intention could you have for telling someone that they're attractive?
Just to appreciate
I'd like
someone.
to know, and I'd like to know an appropriate way to express, because attraction and telling someone they look nice is different. Like, I'm attracted to you is I'm attracted to you. You are
So if
you're
I'm- if-
pretty or you're handsome is commenting on someone's appearance without expressing an attraction.
I find
so
you
I'm
attractive.
curious to know what is an appropriate
Then there's no
way
reason to do
what is-
that. In my eyes, if that's
Right.
what you're doing,
I think
unless
that answers
you have
the
an agreement with your
question.
person, I don't see why you would do that.
Yeah, that's my question. I'm curious if anyone disagrees. Like, what would be the appropriate way to
Brent, let's get
express
some questions where we
attraction?
disagree.
For once, but Emily's on our side.
You don't like it
Beautiful.
whenever you
What an
sign
easy
up?
question to
It rubs you
answer.
the wrong way.
Next one.
Lovely. Next question is: emotional cheating is worse than physical cheating.
It's all cheating. You just added adjectives. I don't know why this generation likes to make things complicated, bro. If you like cheat, it's still cheating.
It's because they're not the same thing. That's why the adjectives are
Physical's
added.
worse.
Emily's right. It's not the same thing.
Physical's worse.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my take.
I think
Black Rob
emotions
has given his
I think
take.
both of
The thing is, either way, I'm gonna be so hurt. Either way.
If my
Either way,
man
I'm
gets
gonna be hurt.
physical, I'm gonna get
There's a
emotional.
road
And
to
if he
recovery
gets
from
emotional,
emotional
I'm
more
gonna
than
get
physical, I
physical.
think.
Pick your poison, bro.
Oh, I think that
Maybe for a
not
man,
everyone will
maybe
agree
it's
with that.
you
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
There's
I
a road
think
to
so.
recovery
Maybe for
from
a man.
emotional more than physical. I
I think
think.
the opposite.
Yeah.
Physical's in the mind.
Yeah, but then that means that maybe I'm being gaslighted, but that means that there's probably something going on for that to get to that place.
Yeah, there's a void somewhere
yeah,
for the
yeah,
emotional
yeah.
for someone to fill the emotional gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we want to talk about why people
We never
might
said you were
cheat.
wrong, Ems.
Because-
We were just
You
saying
did agree
the
with me.
consciousness of it. You were right, but I feel like you were doing it with full vim and chest. But
Yeah, you're
Yes, I
endorsing it a bit
was.
too much.
yeah, there
I
was no
wasn't
kind of
endorsing,
guilt
I
or
was saying
remorse.
it happened.
Did you know what it was, Emily?
my-
For me, you said when you were younger you did it, and then when you were older you did it. And there seemed to be no. I'm matured. I'm matured, and I saw the errors
don't
in my
remember.
ways.
Mistress.
And
An
I'm
old
older.
mistress.
Exactly. No, Jackie, I don't
And
regret.
you even
I
said
don't
I
regret.
benefited from it. And I don't,
Oh,
you should have
I
done
don't
it.
regret
She
either
was
one.
reminiscing about the good old days.
No, I don't. I don't regret either one. I don't.
No, like
I absolutely do
No
not.
remorse.
yeah. So it's like in your in both different chapters of your life, you said let's get it.
Yeah.
Which is yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to have a coffee and I give you the particulars, we can do that. But yes, I have no regrets.
Yeah, it's women like you scare me, man. You do badness with chest.
But at least she's honest. At least she's honest.
Actually,
at least
to
she's
be honest,
honest.
yeah, you can't blindside someone. Someone like you can't blindside someone, so that's good.
Which is better. Emily, do you think you can go? Sorry, can you go into a relationship with that? Do you reveal that? Do you put that on the table?
My life is an open book.
I respect it.
So there's like
That
if you
change will
approach me, you will know.
Okay, cool. No, I think
my immediate thought was my life is not a book. I don't even want it to discover. Open or close.
Sorry?
Good for you, sis. I'm laughing at myself because when you said your life is an open book, my first thought was my life is not a book.
Well,
No,
it's an
thank
expression, so
I know. That's why I'm laughing at myself because my mind is
okay.
fucked.
But I think it's harder to recover from an emotional one because physical. To be physical, to have gotten physical, especially for women, you would have had to have gotten emotional most of the time. There would have had to be an attraction there. So I think emotional leads to physical. But if it's just physical, that's even worse.
But do you know, with me, like physical,
you know what?
With physical, sometimes I look at it like, and it's probably sexist saying this, but like for the most part, if you can, what was the interaction? Does that mean that you're consumed by lust, or you just don't rate me? Because that's
physical.
Yeah. That's the only reason. Because I'm like,
or I'm not doing what.
Because I could
what
never
needs to be
date a
done.
girl that goes, "Oh man, I got
Instead,
drunk
you
and
don't
it just
rate me.
happened." I was like, "Okay, cool. You're one of those that you're in that box now."
Yeah.
Or that's the only two reasons why I think that can happen for physical.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say
Or get
that.
back.
I was gonna entertain the
Well,
idea
lovely
that
talking to you lot,
it's
and you lot take care of yourself. Peace.
Take care, Veronica.
Bye,
Veronica.
Stacey,
Bye,
what were you saying?
Veronica. I was gonna say, I was gonna entertain just for the sake of conversation, the idea, like how you were saying, when women cheat, it tends to be a more emotional thing, whereas when men cheat, it tends to just, be a hit it and quit it thing. But no, because again, with the whole discipline thing, I tend to be a very like 10 toes black and white, like you made a conscious decision type of person thing. And I'm going to be more,
Same, Stacey.
even though for men it's a physical thing more time, I'm going to be more annoyed with you because it's like, damn, you couldn't think, why do you hate me so much that you couldn't have the mental fortitude to prevent yourself from
I'm
going
not telling you how
far?
to react to it. That's fine. Yeah, you can be black and white, and you can be like, "Yo, I'm no one strike, two strike. You're out." That's good. But I'm just telling you the cogs are different in terms of like, yeah. So if
Yeah.
go on.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think sometimes a huge mistake that women make when they're having these conversations is they apply their own logic to something that a man might go through when men operate completely differently. Even the questions that we ask, the premises that we have when we ask these questions, they just don't apply. You really have to try and quote unquote be a man to make sense of things like that. Just hear out the men.
Why am I making sense of cheating? Like,
Sorry?
this is not the platform to try to make sense of anything, in my opinion. Like, I get where you're coming from because, like I said, like the reasons for cheating are going to be fundamentally different for a man versus from a woman. But at the end of the day, let me not even add this nonsense monogamous word because that's what a relationship is. But in a relationship where we agree to be together, like we agree to have a partnership, and with that comes being respectful and cognizant of each other's commitment to each other. So I'm not hearing, oh, the reasons why we cheat are fundamentally different. I could give a fuck about any of that. Like, your duty to me was to be considerate of me, just as my duty to you is to be considerate of you and respectful of this mutual relationship that we have. So please, like, not at you, but at any man who were to try that foolishness with me, God forbid that's ever my portion, like, you failed. Like, I have no concern for why you failed. I'm more concerned with the fact that you still chose. You made the choice to fail.
No,
that was
you're not interested in why.
How you
no,
got
but
there.
also I think it's naive. I'm 37, but I've realized, as someone else was saying before, when you're young, a lot of things are black and white. There's things you wouldn't do, things you would do. Everything's. But the older you get, the more you see there are blurred lines with a lot of things. I think.
Can we talk about that more?
So the more,
like, what are some of the blurred lines? Teach me. Like, not
also,
genuinely.
I used to assume women only cheated emotionally, but now realizing a lot of women that are in long-standing relationships cheat just for physical as equally as men for different, like for the physical, not for the emotional.
Do you know why that is though? I think that is because of back to feminism. What has happened is that you hear now a lot of the worst parts.
Back in the days, women were doing it too. I think they're just being a bit more vocal about it now. But women were doing the same things back in the days. Older women, I think even younger women are better because they have that black and white naive mentality of when I get married, it's just me and my husband, or me and that one man. But also another thing. Relationship definition is based on your definition. So some people's definition is not monogamy. It's I'm going to respect my wife. I'm going to respect my partner. I'm going to make sure I do my duties, whether it's cooking, whether it's providing.
Basically, what Marx.
Yeah, but I think we fake people that are being honest. No, but I'm faithful in terms of I'm going to respectfully do it. There's some people that respectfully do it, and I promise you, people, it's there.
It's
and
very, very
true.
I was so disappointed. I'm sorry.
I'm basically acquiesced to
I never said I understood Emily's point, but I don't agree with it. But I'm saying based on Stacey's definition of relationship equals monogamy, that's not the case. Some people are genuinely in good relationships and they're definitely cheating.
That's not mutually exclusive. You can't say that.
They're
good relationships and they're cheating. I'm sorry.
Just hold on.
Good relationship.
That's very, very right.
That's a good relationship.
But a lot of people are in good marriages and the man cheats or the woman cheats,
and they have an agreement and it's fine.
They don't have an agreement.
But they can.
Oh, they do.
But even if they don't have an agreement, they're still.
Yeah, but that's not cheating. Then if there's an agreement.
No, but then some of them don't even like. As long as I don't know about it, I'm good.
Yes. And that's a good relationship.
No, guys,
you do what you do in the house.
That's a good relationship.
I think this is the one time.
Do you consider that a good relationship?
This is the one time that I'm especially disappointed.
Not for you. Do you consider it a good relationship?
If you like it, I love it. Like if that's what's making you guys stay in marriage.
That is such a cop out these days, man. Do you consider it a good relationship?
No, but if you two
are in agreement and you're happy and you're genuinely happy,
in the agreement, she's already aware that this man is doing what he's doing.
Because I'm not leaving.
Yeah, but then to me, that's not him cheating. If I'm aware, where's the cheating?
You don't have all the details, for example.
And you consider that a good relationship?
Because
it's not. Do you know? And now go back to the Cam Newton thing. If you could ask Cam Newton's missus if she would want him to stop cheating, she would probably say yes. But because of the power dynamics, she has to accept it. So she's in a position where because of power dynamics, she's accepting something she doesn't want to accept. But because of the lifestyle that he affords her, she just deals with it. And outwardly, we're saying, "Oh, that's a good relationship." No, it's not.
Wait, Stacey's got points because you guys can't hear it.
That particular one is not. Sorry, Stacey.
I'm sorry. I just think it's extremely. Y'all are aware of my age.
Yeah,
I'm 25. Just for context.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I will die on the hill of my age group and generation having against now and for forever. I think that the ways that I'm not calling you guys old, but the way that older women have become so tolerant of men and their antics, and I think I'm comparing it to the things that you guys are telling me versus the things that I've seen and heard from my mom's generation. It only gets worse. Like one thing my mom told one of my younger aunts when she got married that I think holds true not just in life but in this conversation. One thing you must do when you get married, I'm not married, but this is just what I've heard, and I hope to and pray that I get a chance to implement this in my own life. Do not set a poor precedent in your marriage. What you allow when you begin your marriage is what's going to continue to evolve as your marriage grows. If you're somebody who says, Valentine's Day doesn't mean anything to me, you don't have to do anything. You're going to be crying for 50 Valentine's Day in the future. If you say, so long as he's bringing home the bacon, bringing home, paying the bills, he can do whatever he wants. You're opening a territory. You're opening an abyss.
It doesn't always
Pandora's
start like that,
box.
Stacey. And I think that's what Emily's point is with
I know it doesn't always start that way, but I'm very nervous for the way that we are teaching the younger generation of women to be.
I don't think there's any teaching here.
But Stacey, you're guilty of that a little bit because when someone was talking about polygamy.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Black Rob's doing Black Rob too.
I'm very scared of how we are teaching the younger generation of women to be tolerant from the get-go. I can disagree from my own household and say in mine, I'm not tolerating that. And I get that the perspective you guys are coming from is coming from a place of experience based on, what, things change, things happen, and they do. But I think that is conditioning the minds of a lot of younger women from off rip to say, we say our vows. If by next 1 year into our marriage, he starts looking outside, that's what men do. No, like at least make an honest attempt, a hard attempt to choose each other. If something drastic were to happen and, something happens outside, I'm not saying you should be, you should give grace there. That's for you and your relationship to decide. But I think that a lot of women are it's like how we're numb to disasters that's happening in the world. How they say this generation is numb to unprecedented times. We are making these strange relationship dynamics that go against the basic principles of relationships.
But how do you know yours
normal
is not,
and it's numbing women's minds?
I don't think I'm a very much monogamy. However, I've realized when I was younger, Stacey, 25 years, when I was 25, I didn't understand when people said, at least he does it respectfully. Until I got old and I realized, no, at least he does it respectfully. There's a difference. And people would prefer do it respectfully. So the older you get, you realize lives and the expectations you had, a lot of people don't have it, and it does erode. So your mum saying that what you start with is what you'll finish with, kind of thing, is true. There are men that are no. I mean, no. I'm saying that there are men that will cheat.
I don't want you to misconstrue what she's saying.
No, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying those are for the men that cheat. But there's things happen along the way where both can cheat as well. So sometimes, as Emily's point, but Emily, I don't think is a monogamist. That's different. But there's some people, like you said, if you're cheating and the person doesn't know and you have to hide it, therefore you're cheating, that's a completely different thing. Whereas Emily sound like you have an understanding with the other person and you understand that sometimes things happen. But there are people that have to hide it out of respect for people. But I think the older we get, the more you realize how fluid people's definition of what relationships is. The fact that you have to use monogamy in the word as a prefix to relationship, I'm in a monogamous relationship, tells you that relationships do not equate to monogamy, and it's not some people's intention. I've heard some people say it is not normal.
But that's my very point.
But they'll use the Bible.
My very point is that we're conflating the term relationship in this generation. It's like this is not a direct comparison, so stay with me when I give this example. It's like how people get irritated when people say, what's the term? What's the word I'm looking for? The whatever woman. What's the word that they're saying?
Quintessential woman.
What's the word? What you just said? I didn't hear you.
Quintessential.
No, there's a word there. You're on the right track, but there's a word that now that we have different genders.
Cisgender.
Yes, exactly. When people's irritation was saying cisgender woman, like it's almost like saying chai tea. Like a relationship, the definition of a marriage is a union between two people.
Yes.
To say
no, it's not.
monogamous
It's not
marriage, it is.
No, it is.
You can have your own variation of it, and we respect that.
A marriage
like
is
how you apply it is to you.
Yeah.
A marriage is between two people.
Okay.
So this generation saying a monogamous, a monogamous. Stop the nonsense, bro. Yes, the adjectives apply in your household, but I hate that we've had a habit of conflating it so much that we have become numb to what these terms actually are.
I think our generation is more monogamous than the previous one and the previous one before that. I think this generation's understanding that if you marry, try and marry and stay faithful.
Because fewer
but
get
I
married.
think fewer. That's why fewer are getting married. I don't want to be. It doesn't make sense because I don't see why I get married and I still do the same foolery when I'm outside. If I'm gonna get married, let me get married and be serious. Whereas a lot of people are in relationship just for the tag and do exactly the same out as they would outside. But it's just respectful because they've got the ring on their finger, but they're doing the exact same movements.
It's an oxymoron, respectfully.
I think it's an oxymoron. Thank you. I was just saying.
You're older. Like, come on.
Can I just
speak to the older sisters?
Last point.
Sorry, I just wanna say, bringing it back to the whole emotional, physical cheating. for me, when I think of cheating, there is deception involved. There is lies involved. There is being dubious involved. There is certain, those words take place. So whether or not you're emotional cheating or you're physical cheating, you're going to either lie to me at some point, you're going to be deceptive to me at some point. How is that to me? How is that?
I lie because I love you.
How is that respectfully cheating? Because
I didn't want to hurt
you are doing those things. That's not respectful. Because if you're doing these things on the basis that you have to be deceptive to me. So with the emotional cheating now, you're going to go and speak to this person, have this call. Oh, babes, where were you? Well, what happened? Like, I couldn't get hold of you. Oh no, I was just with the guys.
Yeah.
But you were doing the emotional cheating. And the same it would be for a physical act. So to me, just by sheer the fact that you're going to be doing all these things to me, being deceptive and all that in turn will hurt me. So therefore, I don't. So this whole thing of the trust goes. The trust goes. So to me, saying respectful cheating, sorry, how?
But have you heard that though?
I've heard it, and it's bullshit.
I understand the concept, but I reject the concept. Like, I see what you're saying. You want to do it in a way that's considerate of the person that you're cheating on. I just think that's adding sugar to shit.
I don't agree with him, and I think monogamy is the way for me. But I realize a lot of people don't believe in monogamy, and they really genuinely don't believe in it. Or they don't believe in the control.
As my last point, Brent, before you finish, I think this generation needs to learn to stand on business. When you're going to do wrong with your chest. Don't add sugar to shit and call it respectful cheating. Like, it's cheating, bro. Cut the shit.
And also, one last thing. When people are saying madness, a lot of the times I see people go, oh, if it's good for you, then it's good for me. It's like, it's saying that I don't rate it, but why don't we stand on like, yo, I think what you're spieling is morally wrong.
To you.
People are afraid of making a hit dog holler.
No,
that's
but
what
it's
it is.
In
Anyway.
2025, are black women the reason why relationships are not working?
You man.
Yes.
Y'all, what did you put into ChatGPT for these questions?
Relationships aren't working.
Jesus Christ.
Black Rob.
I can't put it all on them, but they're a big part. As I said, the pendulum swings. No, because it's as you said, a lot in the black community, especially in the Western world, women are outpacing men in the workforce, all that stuff. So they need. It's a thing right now where they're focusing so much on career and stuff like that the years where they need to be picking their partner a lot of the time, they're focusing on their career, and then it's later that they want to pick the partner, and a lot of times, for the most part, a lot of the eligible guys will be gone. So I think, and then also there are guys that are not catching up, but for the most part, I think I won't put it all on women, but they're playing a big part, because, as I said, if your focus is on relationship as much as it's on your career, you will find someone. I believe that in the right years.
Can I ask Stacey, are you in a relationship? Do you mind? I know you're not an open book.
No.
But, sorry?
No, that was a good one. I'm not in a relationship.
Are you not in a relationship because you're focusing on your career? Is it because you're focusing on your career? And
no.
I think sometimes
I actually think that. Go ahead.
I think sometimes just because they're doing well in their career, we assume that it's because they didn't care about the relationship. It's like, if the man is not coming, should I just sit there and be unemployed?
If you put the same impetus on your relationship as your career, like, I've got a younger sister and she's pretty girl, everything. I won't talk of business too much, but like, she's got a really good job, and I know that the amount of what she puts into her job, she hasn't got that fire. She says if it comes, she treats it blasé. Imagine if you come out of university.
Damn, not your sister being me.
Imagine you coming out of university and go, oh, if the job comes, it'll come. You know, I'm doing me right now, man. I'm just working on myself until the job comes.
What could Stacey and your sister do to be more intentional about dating?
Oh Lord.
Were you gonna ask that?
No, I think that's so funny, because every time I've had this conversation with my friends, I'm always told, well, you need to put yourself out there. And I think the idea of putting yourself out there is so ridiculous.
What does that mean in 2025?
I am right. Thank you. There's no directions.
I don't know what you guys do. Go recess or whatever.
I go outside. Like, I'm very blasé about it too. I just feel like the idea of searching for a relationship, to me, what is it? They've coined it as something. even though I've kind of had this mindset before it was coined a thing on social media, I don't aspire to have a male-centered life. Like I actually, as I've gotten older, I've kind of weeded off friends who operate that way.
That's BS,
like,
man.
I don't want to go to a club and it's a personal irritation of mine at my big age of 25. If you're a woman who goes outside and is so on, oh, I'm not paying for my drinks, oh, I'm not paying for a table, honey, I'm gainfully employed. I'm going to pay for comfort.
Stacey.
Respectfully. You can go and shake your cup at the next man's table, but me, I can afford to buy myself a drink and pay for a table.
Like, pay for it, Stacey.
But there are women who are so male centered that if that's not the setup for the night, they're not going. For me, I just want to have a good time with my friends.
You're talking about the club environment.
No, it's not economical. For them, it's a thing of, I'm a woman, I'm pretty, I can go outside. I it's like almost an entitlement. Why would I go outside and pay for my own drinks and spend my own money if I'm a woman? And I'm just like, girl, do you not want to have a good time? You gonna come or no? Like, do you want to hang out with me or no? Like, that's my mindset. One of my friends was telling me, she asked, when you go to new places, or like when we were in college, when you would enter a new semester and enter a new class, do you scan the room to see, I wonder who here is attractive? Like, is that your first thought? I'm like, girl, I can hold you. When I was in school and I was scanning the room, I was probably thinking, I wonder what their major is. Like, maybe attraction was not even
Do you know who's scanning the room?
on my
or
list.
them the Beckys that they were talking about. They're the ones scanning the rooms. That's how all your athletes get snapped up.
I don't.
Maybe it's all their girlfriends. What do they look like? They got them at high school.
There's many reasons for how I probably ended up there, but as I've gotten older, especially now that I'm having a lot more friends who are in relationships and a lot of friends who are now getting married and starting families, and I'm seeing how shit of friends they are because of that. I do not have any aspiration to live a male-centered life. I'm not saying I reject the idea of a relationship. I'm very open to that. I'm ready for my husband and my kids tomorrow, but I'm not going to actively search it because I can see how mentally consuming that is, and how just I don't know. There's
what you're saying is counterproductive to the outcome you want. You know that, right? I'm ready for 100%. My man tomorrow, but I'm not searching for it.
I'm not actively searching for it. I probably should have. I respect that I need to have a little bit more intention, but I reject the intention that other people say I should have. To me, intention looks like going out a little bit more. I probably spend more time either working or, doing my own thing versus going out to social settings.
What happens when you go out,
for what I was talking about, you know that, right?
And then go scouts in the room for the eligible men.
Yeah, I want to know what happens when Stacey goes out.
Yeah, the case study for what I was talking about.
I don't go out much. Truly, I don't.
But when
I do go out,
how do you anticipate finding your future partner?
I'm
out of
convinced
curiosity.
that God is gonna send me a 6-foot Amazon box
there we
with
go.
a nice African man. I'm joking.
He helps those who help themselves. You know that, right?
It's not biblical. My go-to phrase to deflect is "He who finds a wife," and my pronouns are she, her, hers. That's my deflection.
Oh, really,
I'm kidding.
Stacey?
I can be. I'm joking. I honestly know that I can be a lot more intentional. I just think that when we have those discussions, we don't necessarily discuss the how enough in ways that is genuine, I guess, or ways, implementable. That's the word I'm looking for.
Join the ministry at church.
That's how they
that's a very good option. That's a very good option.
Be an usher, girl.
I am in a period of my life where I am very how do I say this?
Cool.
Churches are something that I am not weary of, but I'm very particular of the type of churches that I engage with.
But again, because you're excluding yourself from the environment where you could find a man. So I also think there's a problem with going to church in the interest of finding a man. That's so male-centered. It sounds bad, but the girls that are doing that are the girls that are getting married. So the girls that are going to restaurants.
For them. My relationship with God is not going to be started on the grounds of going there to find a husband.
I get your initial premise shouldn't be to go to church to find a man, but it should be for God. However, that's a very good place to be seen as well. It's that's like networking every week with a group of people. And then some people intentionally will serve to be seen.
You asked for a practical step. I gave you one and you gave a rebuttal as to why you can't do it.
I can't lie. Are the black men in the church?
But
they are.
I received that.
There's some eligible
I think
bachelors.
that what you're saying is what you're trying to say with the advice you just gave is more in line with my initial practice of doing normal things for self-improvement, and in that intention to self-improve, you end up putting yourself in places to meet men.
Case in
or
point,
meet a spouse. Like for me, I know that in the near future, I would like to work on my faith a lot more, and that will require me to find a church home. Now, if I happen to find faith, if I happen to find a man at said church, okay. But I don't like the idea. I'm very averse to the idea of people going to church in an effort to find a man.
Some
I think
people
that's
go
not
to
what that's
uni to
for.
find a man. They do
Same for
certain
me being more
courses to find a
social.
man.
I could probably work a lot less. I could probably be more social and interact more in social settings with people my age. Will I probably find a man in those settings? Numbers wise, the statistics align with that. But I'm not saying, well, I want to go out and find. A lot of women who do that, like, you don't even end up having good fun, or you don't get to live in the moment and to make quality memories because you're objective. You're almost rating your experience or going out with the objective of this is what I'm looking for. No, I think you can look for those things and have that intention whilst also living your normal life.
Do you think the ones that are intentional are more likely to get the results?
They do,
of course, numbers wise.
Okay.
But that's not my I received that. But me in this period of my life, I'm not. My time is not running out.
This is exactly what I was talking about, though, isn't it?
This is the prime period of your life, age-wise, to be this intentional. So you're not doing it at 30 in your 30s when the most eligible
funny
ones
that you
are
say
taken
that,
off.
Jackie.
But I know in terms of some people intentionally go to tech events to see someone. Some they go to
I know.
They go to the right uni to find the right.
I'm just doing me. I'm focusing on my career. This ain't the time. Maybe later.
But you know what's so ironic about this advice? If I ask you how you met your significant others, usually this happens to me, and I think it's so hilarious. They'll say, "Oh, you have to put yourself out there after this." Then I ask them, "How did you meet your significant other?" "Oh, I met him in college." "Did you go to school? Go to school for him, or you went to school to improve your life and you happened to find him?" So you yourself, the way you found your husband, it wasn't even by that. Like
multitasking.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No, but they multitask. You could do, but
right,
I think you're referring to the people.
You can do both. That's what I'm saying. Like I like to operate from the perspective of I'm gonna do things to improve myself, and do things to improve, hit my goals and my milestones. And I do with that. I can have that intention as a close secondary.
Yeah, the 50-50. Whereas I think you're referring to girls that are doing
more like 80-20.
Oh, come on.
But as it stands, but my advice, what I said still stands, that the girls that I knew, even from my age group, that were intentional about finding a guy in the same way, with the same veracity as they were about finding a job, got both.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
That's good.
And the ones that spoke with the blaseness of, "Oh, I'm young, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'm still focusing on me. I'm focusing on my career. It'll come later in God's time. I'll just look at it." They got what they put effort in, and just based off the rhetoric, you could tell how much effort they put into what they wanted.
Yeah, because it's successful
Izzy
in their
Bambino in
career
the chat
and
said
everything
we
else.
demonize seeking partners in the name of independence. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, I urge everyone, look, I think women are the ones who are more keen to this because it's something that we see more. Look at some of your friends who, when they were younger, they were probably a little boy crazy, a little prematurely, or a lot of your female friends who can't not have a man or can't not have a situationship, and look at like the way that they live their life and the way that their personal relationships outside of their romantic ones are. That is my model for what I don't want to be.
So the extreme.
The extreme. You're talking about the extreme girls.
I've seen a range of them, and I don't want any parts of that.
No, you're seeing it. Quote unquote boy hungry girls. The male centered women. Like you don't have to be male centered.
I've heard women who they're not
you don't
boy
have
crazy,
to at all.
but
Like,
when they're in a relationship, go ahead. Sorry, I've talked enough.
You're saying when they're in a relationship, they literally is no friends, nobody but the man. I think that's it's just the way that they prioritize things is just very like strangely balanced, and I just don't aspire to that. To have
is
that
this
in my
in
life.
or outside of the
relationship?
relationship?
I think that's okay.
In the relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, you should prioritize your
both,
partner, shouldn't
honestly.
you?
Both. I think it's both. I think it's when they're in a relationship, the way that they balance their everything is just strange to me. And even when they're out of a relationship, they're constantly seeking the next one so much so they don't know how to have regular interactions.
But isn't that with
it's
even
weird
work,
and I want no parts of it.
When we overwork, and then when you're out of work, you're overly look how many jobs you apply for before you get another job. It's given desperate, but you want it, so you actively pursue it.
I don't think of it like that.
Maybe because you don't prioritize.
Like,
you don't hold it in the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, I receive everything you guys are saying, and I actually agree with you more than you know. I just think that different people have to apply it differently. And for me in my life, and I think it's also based on, it could be like a trauma response, like experiences I've had with people and things that I've seen of women who live male-centered lives. Like that is a very disturbing thing to me. And just in how I would like my, even in how someone asked in the chat, how do I respond when approached? I have a strange aversion to people approaching me romantically off rip. Like I know that I know that that's
what God said.
Honestly,
I know that sounds. No, I'm not gonna object immediately. But I'm somebody who like I might see you in a casual setting. Get to know me as a friend first. Like the romantic thing is a bit much for me. Like I different strokes is what I'm trying to say. If that's how you like to live your life,
Stacey, you've got time to answer the question.
Yeah. Case study 1.
I think Stacey has time to figure things out. To be fair to her, she's only 25, and
she's just a baby girl.
Everything that she's
she's
still very much a baby girl.
Guys, 25 is not young. Please, we gotta start telling young women that.
That is young.
Exactly.
But also embrace. But also, it's not age. Embrace the fact that you are young and you have so much time ahead of you. Because I remember when I was 25, I thought people in their 30s were grannies. So understand that even now I'm 37. I think I'm young, but you're younger.
Yeah.
But I think to Black Rob's point is this is the prime time to maybe prioritize. If you want, not everyone wants relationships. Not everyone wants a relationship before they're 30 or something. But if that is something you want by 30, prioritize that as equally and with the same energy and vim. You've prioritized your career, your studio, your house is looking like a studio. You've prioritized researching all the equipment to put that same energy into being out there. And don't think of it as you're going to serve in church and it's a negative as ulterior motive for God. I definitely agree with you, but maybe doing it for 50-50. I'm doing it for God and is going to meet the other mission. And then you might find a friend in the department. You never know, girl.
For sure. And I also think it's very important to divest from things like the idea of being male-centric. Like, if you're looking for a husband, you're looking for a man. You want to understand men. You want to... Do you know what I mean? There's nothing... I feel like there's too much of a heavy negative connotation to the idea of why would you even use the phrase male-centric when you want a husband?
It's a Twitter word.
I was gonna say that's
that's
such a young social media thing now to say.
No. Really detrimental to young women. You said something about how older women are teaching young women the wrong stuff or whatever, but there is so much in today's discourse that is actually not helpful to young women. And listening to you, Stacey, I just feel like, oh my God.
I allow it.
I wish you had a big sister, who could sort of inject a healthier, more balanced perspective on relationships and the pursuit for a man, or positioning oneself in a place to find a man. Because I think a lot of this sort of TikTok, Twitter discourse is just not doing women favors. And I think going back to the original question, I think women are very much a problem. Not because they intend to, but because there is a confluence of of issues, both historical and current, that have placed women in this position, and it is not going to serve them well in the long run. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I changed my position. I agree with you now. I think they're in a position to see the black man as the enemy.
I don't agree.
You see the black man. A lot of them they see black man as the enemy.
If you don't agree with me, give it time. Ask yourself two questions: how it's working out for you now, and how it's going to be working out for you in 5 to 10 years. You don't have to agree with me, but ask yourself those questions.
What are you talking? Sorry, I didn't. Are you? Wait, sorry. Say that again.
I'm saying Brent's question. Oh, Brent, you didn't post the question again. Are women big contributors to the state of relationships in the community now? Was that the question?
No, that wasn't. It wasn't big. That was not the question.
In 2025, are black women the reason why relationships are not working?
And that's why I don't agree.
Well, I'm saying to a large degree, yes. That's what I'm saying. That's my position. And I'm saying
I don't agree. Do you know what it is? I think women are problems in certain aspects, but on the other end, also men are in other aspects. If that makes sense. So where we're problems in a certain area, there are also men being problematic in their areas why we're not coming together.
That's true.
So men are absolutely problematic in some ways too. I agree with you, but I think to a larger extent, when it comes to this particular conversation, because women have a lot more work to do than men.
But the problematic behaviors of men are called out more.
Okay, can I say are black men now more relationship oriented now, or were they more back then?
Back then. 100%.
So is
okay.
Or the ones that are relationship oriented are now trying to be monogamous, because back then it was let's have it. Anything goes. Like they literally were having their cake and eating it. Whereas now it's like
they're still doing it now.
No, they're still doing it now, babes.
But they're doing it less
I don't know
now.
I don't know why this notion you're getting that it's a back day thing and it's not a now thing.
They're doing it less now because they're not.
They're doing it less now.
No, but you're saying they're not in relationships now.
Do you know the biggest amount
of
of
relationships now? Then clearly they're doing it less now and being in relationships.
Paternity fraud is in Nigeria?
I know.
So
Uganda, there's literally
and Ghana as well, yeah.
Like find the real.
Yeah,
is the child your child?
So
it's a madness.
She is actually pretty much 50-50, you know that, right?
Yeah, coming to realize. Yeah. But it's telling with the paternity rates and the fact that you've got to do that much paternity test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's increasing now, it's just that now there's ability to get tested.
Data,
yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Already.
Stacey.
Thank you, Brad.
LA.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Stacey.
LA, babe.
Stacey, go out tonight. Put on something cute.
In Jesus' name, you will get that.
Go out to the store.
Stacey, call me. We need to talk.
Put some perfume on and get out there.
Because that's what's going on.
I'm weak.
Is she in LA?
Yeah.
Are you near the fires?
You see this? Yeah, one of them, they put out the fire that was close to me almost immediately, so we're okay.
Thank God
yeah, but I'm smack in between. I live in Hollywood.
Hollywood, girl. Okay, so thank God you're okay.
But yes, you see this comfy couch?
Go and volunteer. Stacey, go and volunteer somewhere.
That's true.
Put out some fires.
There's a black Mendra in LA. Did you not know?
Find yourself a firefighter.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You might be a fight. Help with the hose.
There's a black Mendra in LA. Yes.
Okay. Go to another state, Stacey.
Y'all are so funny.
Emily, thank you very much. One day we're going to find out all about your stories.
Yeah.
Those who know the stories.
I want to know.
I have to find that meet at 7.
Those who know,
I want to know.
Christy, I'm so good. Yeah, Christy has the tea.
What? Wait.
Thank you very much, Christy. Thank you very much, Jackie and Black Rob. You have been amazing. Thank you very much.
Problem.
It was nice meeting you guys, albeit
I'm
virtually.
waiting for you to be in London so you can come true.
Yeah.
I'm in Uganda and Ghana for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Go easy on the Ghanaian
when I
men,
get back.
please. Don't corrupt
I've
them.
finished them. I've finished all of them. They're done.
Did you hear that?
Amen. I Ed in the
I
chat.
forget we're recording. I'm so sorry. Brad, please edit that out.
Thank you, and have a blessed night, Emily.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye.
All right.
Brent, how are you gonna close us out?
In Jesus' name, you shall receive what you deserve. Whatever that is.
Ed said for 2025, the community is willing Stacey into a loving relationship. Amen.
Amen. I might be a white man, you know.
Yeah. God forbid.
God forbid.
Thank God we said amen before you said that nonsense. and end quote before God heard that part of the prayer.
All right. Thank you very much, Stacey. Everybody who turned up, thank you. Apparently, I'm supposed to be sorting you guys up with some SMS lists so that y'all could get like notifications. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure I can find out. Somebody will tell me. But
yeah, get like an email list or something.
Oh, why don't you just press the bell?
Dogs.
Isn't that how you'll get notified? Subscribe and then press a bell. Maybe I should have a little gift that.
Yeah, because obviously I saw it. I saw your note that said there's going to be a community.
I mean, if you join the Discord and then you know.
Also, you said it on the episode yesterday, but I was asleep, so I didn't see the message until I woke up in time to watch last night's episode.
Saying, "Hey, open up." Sleep less.
Anyway,
sleep less. Good night.